the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Madison, Wisconsin is as good as it gets.
It's all about the Badgers.
Go Badgers! Go Badgers!
Games like this is what really separates college football from everything else.
Open up the history books. Here comes Rondell.
That was J.J. Watt, and what a story this young man is. Gordon again! What a performance by Melvin Gordon!
And the pass rush gets home for the Badgers.
Randall lets it roar.
An unrivaled fan base. The best college sports town in the world. This is ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay.
Living on right here, right now.
Oh, that was absolutely awful. Heart-wrenching, avoidable, we'll go through all the words. Complete deflation of the balloon after some of the highest moments the Badgers have had in a while on the football field. Minnesota wins it and keeps the Axe 17-7. Makes me a little sick just to say that. This is ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay. We are on 100.5 ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison and Milwaukee YouTube channels. My name is Cory Sparks. I'm at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios in Milwaukee. Thank you, Mother Nature, for preventing me from making the 1 hour drive over to Madison, where my friend Riley Jauch is, and we also have Owen Dimful producing at the Everlight Solar Studios in Madison. 844-770-3776 is the carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. List is more. I know you want to react to this. I know you all have thoughts on this, so feel free. We will field your messages. But nobody gets to go before the one, the only Riley Jauch, a UW alum, after what was a heartbreaking loss. I am just going to let you run the ball, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Cory. I'm sick to my stomach. This is gross. I'm pissed. I'm angry. And I just got to get this off my chest immediately. Minnesota's the biggest little brother school of all time. Yeah, let's rush the field after beating 4-8 Wisconsin. Oh, my gosh. Not a single leg to stand on. At least Wisconsin rushed the field against ranked opponents after a disappointing season. That's the ceiling for a P.J. Fleck-led football team. You can have all your stupid gimmicks. Yeah, storm the field against Wisconsin. Oh, my gosh. That's so frustrating to watch. It makes me feel slightly better because they're just a joke of a football program, a joke of a university. I hate them. I hate everything they stand for, and I'm just disgusted right now. Wisconsin had no business winning this football game, and they had no business losing this football game. Minnesota did not beat them today. Wisconsin beat themselves. And, oh my gosh, all the goodwill that Luke Fickell garnered over the past 3 games is gone. It is completely gone now. You had to get the Axe back. You had to. That was a non-negotiable this season. Now we have another offseason, 365 days until we get another crack at the Axe, and an entire winter, an entire spring, an entire summer, and most of the fall, potentially, of a completely empty trophy case yet again. This is unacceptable. And while I will put most of the blame on Hunter Simmons yet again, it was Luke Fickell's decision, I presume, to put him into the ballgame today and leave him in the entire second half. I understand his thought process. I understand. Clearly, you want to throw the football. Minnesota was prepared. They were very well prepared, to their credit, for the Carter Smith quarterback running game. The option attack was not working. I get what you're trying to do. But the biggest knock on Hunter Simmons, and why I crashed out earlier in the season after the game against Iowa, was because of his boneheaded decision-making. He made some great throws today. He potentially made what looked like a game-saving throw to Vinny Anthony at the end of the half before Carter Smith finished it off with a dime to Jackson Aker in the end zone. But then what happens? He marched the first drive of the second half, stares down a receiver, tip pass, intercepted. Okay, defense is able to hold. Great. Excellent work. No harm, no foul. He looks poised coming out the next drive. Makes some great throws. But then you leave him in long enough, and look what happens. Stares down Tretch, who was not open in the slightest.
He was double covered.
There was no one. Like, in what world is he open? That he just made the decision, I'm going to throw to Tretch. He's my guy. And he throws it right to the Minnesota defender. He missed some open receivers. It was absolutely disgusting. And that falls on Hunter Simmons, his play. But Luke Fickell, you have a horse. Ride him in Carter Smith. What are you doing? Who is the quarterback that led you to 2 top 25 upset wins? Carter Smith. It's not Hunter Simmons. Oh, my goodness. So that is on Coach Fickell. They had an opportunity. Yeah. Luke Fickell and Wisconsin had an opportunity to put a stamp on a disappointing season, but a very strong finish. They had an opportunity to go into the offseason with a ton of momentum, tons of great tape to show to recruits, to their own guys to get them back, and lots of optimism from a fan base who is starting to buy back in to the vision here, and that is completely gone. They blew it in every conceivable way, and it sucks. I'm pissed. I'm hurting right now. I know my fellow alumni, I know my fellow Badgers fans are hurting immensely right now, but no one's hurting more than those seniors, and that's why I just feel absolutely gutted for them that they had to watch that just absolute clown show of a football program in the Minnesota Golden Gophers keep the axe, storm the field, and get to chop down the goalpost. Vinny Anthony didn't deserve this. Jackson Aker didn't deserve this. Riley Mahlman didn't deserve this. This sucks. I'm just devastated for all those guys that put their heart and soul into everything Wisconsin football this season, who stayed true. Daryl Peterson, for crying out loud. Ben Barton. These guys who bled everything for Wisconsin football their entire career, and this is how they have to go out. I'm disgusted. I have stronger words. I was trying to get some of them out before we went on air. However, I can't say them on air. This just is brutally, brutally painful. Thank you.
It does suck. You're completely justified to be pissed. I think it's safe to say this feels like 2, if not 3 games every year. It holds way more weight, way more levity than the Middle Tennessee State game. Even an Alabama game where you feel like you're punching up and you have a chance to prove yourself on a national stage. Playing for Paul Bunyan's axe, especially when you have not had it the last couple of years, hurts a ton. ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay is presented to you by Coors Light. When you need to refresh on game day, choose a beer that's as cold as the Rockies, cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Let's test out the remote delay here. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
That's not bad. 2024 Coors
Solid.
Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. 844-770-3776. Riley, you are not the only one who's pissed. Scott in Fort Worth is on the cordless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Less is more.
Let's
Scott,
hear,
hello.
Let's
Good
hear
to
it,
from
Scott.
You. Not great circumstances, but how are you?
No, how are you? Can you guys hear me? The phone has been cutting in and out while I've been on hold, so I don't.
We got you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I take back everything I said about Fickell last week. Trash. Just you're right. All the momentum was gone. The only thing you got left in this offseason is recruits leaving, another loss in Minnesota. And yeah, I mean, you were criticizing P.J. Fleck. You can criticize them all you want and talk about Minnesota being the little brother. They beat our ass all the time these days. So if you don't like it, you can get a head coach in here. How about an offensive coordinator that knows what he's doing? Get some guys up front that, can actually, move the line of scrimmage around. I'm almost numb. It's like, why did I expect more? All the momentum they were building, beating ranked teams, even, they're not high ranked teams, but just all of it, momentum gone. And the only thing I do is look on, X or whatever. I see another recruit leaving. I don't see anybody excited to come to Wisconsin at all. And you're right. There's nothing to hang your hat on. This was our Super Bowl today, the Axe game, and nothing. You go out there and you lay another egg like you've been doing all year for the most part. it's whatever, Fickle. Then we're stuck with this clown for another year because the athletic department doesn't know how to run, an administration. So, just when I thought Fickle was turning the corner, we get this turd, and that's great. But anyway, don't know when I'll get to talk to you guys again, but I hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving, and you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And say hi, wife.
Hi, guys.
It's my wife.
Hey, Scott in Fort Worth,
wife.
wife.
Listen to me complain about the Badgers every
Thank you,
season.
Scott in Fort Worth's wife.
But I'll just hang up and see what you guys have to say, and God bless you, and then thank you always for the show all season.
Hey, God bless you too,
Appreciate
Scott.
you, brother.
Really appreciate you calling in every game all season long. You are an awesome fan of the show. Really appreciate everything you have to say. And you're right. Like, I can call Minnesota little brother. I can call PJ Fleck a charlatan or a snake oil salesman, but he's beaten Wisconsin 4 out of the last 5 times. And Wisco Greaves, he's getting on me in the YouTube chat, on me flip-flopping all season long, and that's totally fair. Wisco Greaves, Scott, like, you got me. I've been flip-flopping all season because I want to be hopeful. I want to believe, and I'm getting fooled. I'm getting fooled. I apologize. Like, there's nothing. I mean, we still have an entire show left, so there's still a lot more to say.
Yeah.
But this is it's so disheartening when, like Scott said, it feels like we're turning a corner. It feels like we're finally putting together something positive. We're seeing what a Luke Fickell-led team can be in a positive sense, like the ceiling of this team, and then they go out there and just lay an absolute dud. Scott nailed it. He nailed it. This was our Super Bowl, and they didn't show up. So it hurts. It hurts a lot. We're all fools. We're all fools for believing. I know. I'll totally admit it. I'm a much bigger fool than most today. I will wear that. So
It's justified, though, Riley. Like, it's not like the Illinois game was a flash in the pan or the Washington game was a flash in the pan. Those two occurrences happened a couple weeks apart. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, they finally just ran into one. They caught a team at the right time. If nothing happened after Wisconsin beat the Huskies and it truly was a one-off, a blip on the radar, if you will, then maybe some of us should not have been fooled. The buy-in shouldn't have been there. But even Indiana, I know the whole moral victories thing gets really old, but they were down to Gideon Atuka in the backfield, but Wisconsin was in that football game with a few minutes to go in the third quarter, or a few minutes into the third quarter, I'm sorry. And then the game flipped on its heel. They lost 31-7 to a team that, for all we know, in a few weeks could be national champions, right? Indiana's really, really good. But they beat Illinois. They beat Washington. Both of those teams in a vacuum are miles better than Minnesota, and I don't think today did anything to disprove that, right? I mean, Riley, you and I were talking on the phone since we're remote, about an hour apart, and we kept echoing that Minnesota, they had a good game plan to contain Carter Smith on the ground. They didn't do anything world-beating. I'm not leaving this game after they stormed the field, which is still wild to me against a 4-8 football program. I don't care how good your rivalry is. I didn't leave this game going, wow, they really dialed it up. I mean, just take your hat off, right? Right, tip your cap to the better team today.
Yep.
No, Wisconsin had numerous turnovers. They had a couple of botched punts. The second one, which was horrible, and I would say game-jarring.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to this in a little bit. A weird quarterback decision, right? We've talked about this before. For the last few weeks, Luke Fickell and the Badgers have decided Carter Smith, he is our starting quarterback. He's really good at galvanizing guys. Anytime he runs for a first down, he does that fist pump celebration pointing forward, and the guys just rush around him, whether it's someone who's a freshman or someone who's in their 5th year on this team. He is really good at ushering a crowd together and getting them to all push in the same direction. What I think we learned today is he's not very good at throwing the football consistently yet. And that must be the reasoning. And I don't want to get into this too much, but that must be why. You know what? We can. Why? We've seen this the last 4 or 5 weeks. Hunter Simmons has been the 2-minute drill quarterback, and today the 4-minute drill quarterback, and then he took him inside the 10. There was over a minute left. Went back to Carter Smith. Jackson Aker, really nice catch near side.
Oh my gosh!
Wasn't a huge fan of the play calling before that.
No, we can talk about that later too.
Yeah,
but
we'll dive into that. We got a lot of
there's
today,
a lot.
My point in saying all of this is usually what we see is Hunter Simmons in for one series. It's the 2-minute drill. It's, hey, this guy wasn't doing a whole lot of good things earlier. That's why he essentially lost his job to the true freshman. But what we know he can do is run this offense up tempo. Where the other shoe dropped that none of us were expecting was when Hunter Simmons led the offense back out there to start the second half and then inevitably turned the ball over because that was an issue and ultimately the reason he lost the job in the first place. That has to be why, right, Riley? And 844-770-3776, that they are just not confident in Carter Smith driving the ball down the football field. They were down a couple possessions when the fourth quarter came around, and they said, we need someone who can stretch the field. That's going to be Hunter Simmons. That has to be it, right? That has to be the thinking, the rationale?
I think, and I mean, if Fickell just let Hunter Simmons in for that 2-minute drill, delivers an absolute beauty, drops it in the bucket to Vinny Anthony, and that was all he did, that's a perfect game for Hunter Simmons. And then Carter Smith threw the touchdown pass to Jackson Aker. So it's just mind-boggling. Because, yes, clearly there's no other reason. I understand. I mean, Carter Smith, he had some bad misses earlier in the game. One that comes to mind immediately is Tretch, where he just widely overthrew him when he was wide open. And maybe it's those medium-range to long-range throws that they don't trust him with yet. But today didn't feel like a day where you really needed to push the ball down the field. Look at what Minnesota did. They survived just off dinking and dunking their whole way down the field, and that was good enough for the Gophers. It was good enough to win. It helps when you start 4 drives in Wisconsin territory. That's pretty helpful. But this game overall just doesn't give me any confidence that Carter Smith can be the guy moving forward. If this coaching staff doesn't trust him to throw the football, which is kind of an important quality, an important skill set to have as a quarterback, how can you sell to your fan base that this is going to be our quarterback number one in a season that is make or break for Luke Fickell and Chris McIntosh and this whole program? I don't believe in Carter Smith right now. I certainly believe in him more than Hunter Simmons, but if they don't think he can throw the football, that's not a Big Ten caliber quarterback. So now I'm of the opinion, if that's how they feel about his development through a full season, you know what they say, by the time about halfway through the season, you're not a freshman anymore. By the last game of the season, you sure as heck shouldn't be a freshman anymore. So I believe the Badgers, you really have to attack the portal. You cannot make this mistake again. Danny O'Neal wasn't the guy. Billy Edwards Jr., injuries. So you never know what would have happened with him. But Hunter Simmons, clearly not the guy. Carter Smith showed lots of really good flashes, but there must be something that we're not seeing as fans or media members that the coaching staff knows, which is why they don't put their trust in him. I just don't understand why else you would make that decision in such a critical game when Carter Smith was the guy that got you those big wins. He was the guy that got you here, and they didn't believe in him.
And what did he do in the first half that he hasn't done the last 3-4 weeks? I'm just, where I'm getting a disconnect before we go to break is the plan could not have been first half Carter Smith, second half Hunter Simmons. So what changed, right? Absolutely not. So something happened in this game that made Luke Fickell go, we're staying with 15. Was it the throw to Vinny Anthony where it's like, this is lightning in a bottle, we just have to chase this? That might be it. That could be the clubhouse leader for why you make a decision like that. But I look at Carter Smith, it's 5 for 8, 20 yards, had a really nice touchdown pass near sideline to Aker. That's not abnormal. It's not like Carter Smith was struggling mightily through the air today compared to what he's done in the last few weeks. So if your expectation for Carter Smith coming in was, you better have over 100 yards through the air by the half, which I don't think anybody should have had in these weather conditions. It was going to be a run-heavy game for the most part. But if that was your expectation, sure. Carter Smith did nothing different today than he did against Illinois, than he did against Washington, other than win. He won those two games, but he played those two games for the majority of them at least. So outside of, Hunter Simmons going in there for the 2-minute drill. And we've seen the same thing. We didn't see a 68-yard bomb to Vinny Anthony that was almost a touchdown before, but we would see nice slings on crossers, intermediate to deep routes from Hunter Simmons where you go, there we go. This is, and I don't know this. You would have a better chance of knowing this than I do because I haven't been going to the press conferences before and after and through the week. I'm wondering if, even though Hunter Simmons, was a quarterback at SIU and hasn't been at Wisconsin much longer than Carter Smith has, I'm wondering if they are at least assuming hey, this guy's got, 5 years under his belt for the most part. He's been in the locker room. He's been watching film. I trust him more to rattle off these plays quicker in a 2-minute drill atmosphere than I do Carter Smith, because Carter Smith was a scout team quarterback essentially a few weeks ago. So he's still learning the playbook to begin with. But I trust this veteran to at least be able to run an offense at a higher octane speed than Carter Smith, who, if he's going to run an offense faster, it's a run-heavy set. But if that is your decision, why did Carter Smith start the game to begin with?
Exactly.
Because he was winning.
And why don't you bring him back for the second half? Hunter Simmons could have gone down a hero. Everything, all his sins would have been forgiven today if all he does is throw that bomb to Vinny. Carter Smith comes out the second half. You're only trailing by 3. It's not like it was 17-7 coming out of half. It's not like it was 10-0 coming out of half. Let Carter Smith cook a little bit in the second. I don't know. I'm baffled. I'm fascinated to hear what Luke Fickell has to say in his post-game press conference, because I know that's got to be question number 1, 2, and 3 from the beat reporters. I don't know how it can be anything else. It doesn't make much sense. Carter Smith was so successful in the biggest games of the season. Not the biggest games of the season, but in the biggest wins of the season, the most successful games of the season for this Wisconsin offense. So why not let the kid try? Let him get the second half. And then, hindsight's 20/20, but I would have loved to see what that looks like. Because you run the exact same offense that you ran with Hunter Simmons with Carter Smith. I'm very confident that there are not 2 interceptions. And if you take out those 2 interceptions, worst case scenario, you're probably looking at a 10-10 ball game. Maybe the score stays 10-7, but that's a totally different feel than trailing by 10 throughout most of the second half. And I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it, and I can't. I can't get it. It's so frustrating. This sucks.
We'll step aside for a quick break. We do have more on the quarterback conversation coming up. But first, are you looking for a reliable roofing and home restoration company right here in the great state of Wisconsin? Well, Badgerland Exteriors is here to help you. Residential and commercial roofing, siding, and solar, Badgerland Exteriors has you covered. Visit badgerlandexteriors.com to get started today on your next project. The way I see it, Wisconsin has 2 very different decisions to make at this quarterback situation, in this quarterback combo. We resume that up next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's a lot to be thankful for this season at Metro Ford of Madison. Get the 2025 Ford F-150 STX, now available with 2.9% APR for 66 months. That's just $16.64 per $1,000 financed. Or if leasing's your style, drive home the F-150 STX for just $299 a month with $3,859 due at signing for 36 months. Don't wait. These thankful offers end December 1st. Find your next Ford today at MetroFordOfMadison.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Want to pay off this year's rent or mortgage? Feel like a real estate mogul at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison during November's Live for Free promotion. Starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, November 29th, 24 winners will each spin the wheel for a cash prize of up to $5,000. Then at 8 p.m., one grand prize winner will pocket $25,000 in cash to use toward their rent or mortgage. This could be your chance, but you have to be here. Live it up this November and go to
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Game Day in Wisconsin calls for a big play. The Big Dinner Box from Pizza Hut. 2 medium one-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks, all for just $19.99. That's enough for you to feed your whole lineup and the fans before kickoff. Hand-tossed, pan, thin and crispy, even tavern style. Pizza Hut has something for every seat in the stadium. Order now for delivery or carryout at pizzahut.com or on the app. Fuel your game day with the Big Dinner Box. Pizza Hut. Feed good times.
Badgers volleyball insights straight from the man on the sidelines.
There'll be aspects of what we're doing offensively that our teams have not done before.
Tune into the Kelly Sheffield Show on ESPN Madison, presented by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse.
The hardest thing in town is for the volleyball match in the field house. I mean, that's really hard.
It's the Kelly Sheffield Show with Badgers volleyball head coach Kelly Sheffield and host John Audius on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
College GameDay Postgame Show. We are on 100.5 ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison and Milwaukee YouTube channels. Wisconsin coming out on the wrong end of it. Huge credit to the volleyball team. They swept Minnesota earlier this week, actually, so that was nice to see. Was hoping it would translate over to the gridiron. It did not. Cory Sparks, Riley Jauch here with you. Riley is in the Everlight Solar Studios on 100.5 ESPN Madison. I am at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Studios in Milwaukee as we let this winter storm warning pass by for about another 12 hours here. So we're battling
stay
through
safe
that.
Out there. I hope.
Yeah, please do.
I mean, it'd be great if you're
decisions.
listening driving back from the game up in the Twin Cities, but oh man, I feel so bad for all the Badgers fans that had to subject themselves to that. Just sucks.
Yeah, 100%. And I will say, from a viewer's perspective, as someone who was on his comfy couch, had a blanket nearby, was sipping some tea, been fighting a sore throat a little bit, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't have to be in this. This is a rivalry game. The snow's coming down, blizzard-like conditions. It was 0-0 after the first quarter. There were 80 total yards of offense between the two teams. I loved it at that point, and then the turnovers happened. So, 844-770-3776 is the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Less is more. We are also reminding you to save money and save the planet, ditch the energy bill, and make the switch over to Everlight Solar, your local solar energy company based in Madison. Visit everlightsolar.com to learn more and make the switch today. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. All right, Riley, I do want to get to the turnovers and the fact that this was just one giant game of self-inflicted wounds and the Badgers shooting themselves in the foot. But first, the quarterback conversation, I think there's two very there's two different scenarios, two different paths that Wisconsin can take with the quarterback decision here. So Carter Smith did not use a year of eligibility. He has 4 left. He played less than the 4 games required. So the good thing about less than the 5 games required, but yeah, below the threshold. So he's good. One of two things needs to happen here, right? We have 2 choices. I'm curious what your perspective is, Riley. I can maybe guess which way you're leaning, but option A, go get a quarterback who can do something with not a whole lot, a la what they've done the last few years, at least what Wisconsin's thought they were doing, right? Whether it was with Tyler Van Dyke or Tanner Mordecai or this year, Billy Edwards Jr. Unfortunately for their fate, that has led to season-ending injuries, usually pretty early on in the year. Looking back, honestly, Mordecai was the best one in terms of he was fighting an injury, but he came back the last handful of games. We didn't know how good we had it. 7-5 that season, ended up going up against LSU in the ReliaQuist Bowl at the end, right? But that first option, that's what Wisconsin's been doing. They've been going out, they've been scooping the senior transfer quarterback with a lot of experience and hoping that they can just soak in the playbook very quickly. And we've never really gotten our answer on whether or not that was going to work because the quarterbacks have gotten hurt so quickly before we even got deep enough into conference play. Option number 2, keep Carter Smith. 4 full years of eligibility left. This was all an experiment. The worst case scenario could have happened, and I still think it was important to get him reps. And I would say 2 ranked wins is not the worst case scenario. Today wasn't pretty. The decision that Luke Fickell made has us scratching our heads a little bit at where Carter Smith is in terms of his development. But option 2 is you take this true freshman quarterback, you trust that a full offseason of prep, he is a full offseason of prep away from being a capable quarterback, and you build around Carter Smith as well as you can, so well that it's impossible for him to fail unless he's not the guy. I'm at least open to that idea considering the senior transfer quarterback option that we've had. If nothing else seems like bad voodoo, we just haven't been able to get a full season out of them. I'm disappointed that Wisconsin did not feel like Carter Smith was capable of finishing that football game, whether or not that was the right decision. I'm disappointed that that was the mindset that was going on. But I am somewhat hopeful knowing he was able to lead this team to 2 ranked victories in 3 weeks without a full offseason, without a whole lot of practice reps with the first team offense. Keep in mind, he was the QB4 to start the season. Wisconsin went through 4 different quarterbacks. They were tied for the country lead in the FBS in terms of how many different starting quarterbacks they had going into rivalry week. Riley, at least in terms of these 2 scenarios, A, go do it again, run it back, get another Billy Edwards Jr., or B, build around Carter Smith. I'm leaning towards option B because he hasn't had enough time to prep and truly show who he is. And I know we're not in the business of making excuses, but this is a kid who, 12 months ago was playing high school football in the state of Florida. Today might have been a little different for him in that regard, too. So I am of belief that building around Carter Smith and seeing what he has when he at least has a full offseason to take in this offense and run the 2-minute offense himself, I'd be willing to see that. I also understand the sense of urgency with Fickell and the easier schedule on the horizon in 2026.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I really wish we would have gotten to see Carter Smith in the second half so we'd have more to go off of, more to judge him on. Because if Carter Smith made those stupid decisions, then maybe we're having a little bit different conversation here if he sells the game against Minnesota. But alas, we didn't get any tape on him in the second half. We don't really know. So now moving forward, I mean, they're both viable options. I really liked the flashes of leadership and of moxie and the dual threat nature that he showed in those 2 wins. And even against Illinois, he was able to throw it a little bit. Not too bad. I mean, the conditions were awful against Washington and Minnesota today in the first half. So I don't critique him too hard on that. However, and I totally understand, like, wanting to be done, as Michael Glenn says, I believe, or no, Parker Dutcher in the YouTube comments, like, you have to stop the rent-a-quarterback route. I get that. I understand. However, you look at what Indiana's done. Kevin O'Rourke, Fernando Mendoza, past 2 years. Getting the best quarterback in the transfer portal makes a very, very big difference. If Wisconsin has a healthy, strong, capable, top half of the Big Ten caliber quarterback, it's a totally different season this year, and next year with a much easier schedule, it looks a lot different. So while I really like what I've seen from Carter Smith so far, it's tough to say this in the NIL era when he could bounce after next year. He could bounce this season if he wants. Yep. I'd really like, ideally, for Carter Smith to sit one more season. Learn the offense, learn what Jeff Grimes wants him to do, learn how to throw the football against Big Ten caliber competition in the elements. He's from Florida. He's not used to snow games. Yep. This is probably his first experience with one of those. So give him one more year, go out. I don't know, and this is another reason I wish we had some transparency in college football, where I wish we knew how much does a starting quarterback cost. We're pretty certain that Billy Edwards cost upward of $1 million. How much did Fernando Mendoza cost Indiana? How much is Ted Kellner and these Wisconsin boosters, how much are they going to invest if they're adding extra investment to put Wisconsin in the top third of the Big Ten in spending NIL money? Where does that put us? How much money, if we got a top-of-the-line quarterback, would we have to spend on wide receivers? Because Vinny Anthony's gone. Dekel Crowdis is gone. I'm trying to remember his name. Chris Brooks Jr., he's gone. Tretch Kekahuna, there's no guarantee he comes back. Jeff Grimes had to beg him to stay this past year, and he convinced him, to his credit. I hope Tretch Kekahuna comes back. I'm not saying he's not loyal, that he wants to leave. I'm not saying any of that. But there's a chance he leaves. And then we're left with Eugene Hilton Jr., who is a great anchor for that wide receiving core, but you don't have a lot of depth beneath that to help a potential star quarterback. So would we have enough money to go get another receiver in the portal too? I'm happy with where we're at with running back, with getting Atuka. Dupree finally showed those flashes at the end of the season. We have Dylan Jones. We're strong at running back. You got 3 offensive linemen who are redshirt freshmen. They're going to be the anchors next season, feeling pretty good about the offensive line. Tight end, you have Grant Steck, who got some experience this season. Maybe go out and get another tight end, like a Lance Mason type from the FCS, who had a great season, all things considered. But yeah, it depends on how much it costs. That's what it's going to come down to. And ultimately, I believe the quarterback is the most important position on the field. You need to ensure that position is stable. We can't have a 4th season in a row with questions at quarterback where we're playing 4 different guys throughout the season. So I think it'd be worth the extra money to go out, get I don't know what I want to say, a 4-star caliber quarterback, a top 10 transfer portal quarterback target. Like, that's what you have to do. You got to go out and get your guy and provide this offense with some stability. I like Carter Smith, but I want him to sit one more year.
That's fair. 844-770-3776 is the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Liz is more. Matt from Chicago is on the line. Matt, how are you?
Good. Well, could be better. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, could be a lot better, Matt.
All right.
Appreciate you calling, though.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, looking kind of on the recruiting front, how do we deal with, schools like Minnesota coming into our territory and what has been our territory under Barry and Paul and all the guys, and kind of taking our top recruits and stop that from happening to our little brother? And I guess secondly, staying my roll the boat, go Gophers, baby!
Get this guy off our airwaves. Get this bum off our airwaves. We got Matt from Chicago. Now we're going to see, this is why, though, I will say,
a couple times
I was
today.
wondering why we had a new voice calling. We haven't heard from Matt in Chicago yet. We haven't heard from Matt from Chicago all season. But this is why I tweeted out earlier this week, Wisconsin-Minnesota, the Axe game, has to be the most underrated rivalry in college football. Like, you don't get it unless you're from Wisconsin or Minnesota. This rivalry is awesome. Minnesota will always be little brother, despite the fact that they beat us 4 out of the last 5 years, which just makes me want to put my fist through the back wall here at the Everlight Solar Studios. So fair play to Matt. I never want to talk to you ever again on this show. Actually, no, that's a lie. Matt, I want to hear from you next year when Wisconsin gets the X back. But that's the thing. Those words are so empty right now. I can feign all this confidence. I predicted them to win 38-7 today. What a joke that prediction was. I can muster up a lot of bravado, but that means absolutely nothing when Minnesota beat us today, and we have to watch them parade the axe around the insipid, grotesque state of Minnesota for another 365 days. So, but he does make a good point. Like, Fickell does need to lock down Wisconsin, and this game does not help. It's a lot easier pitch for PJ Fleck to come into Wisconsin and ask a top recruit from the state to go row the boat up in Minneapolis with him when he's had the axe 4 out of the last 5 seasons. It's a lot easier pitch for him than Fickell now trying to go to Minnesota and pull a guy from there, which I can't believe I'm saying that right now. That should never happen. Should never be that way.
Winners go to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, the casino with the highest payouts in the area. Go be a winner at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. They're open right now and stay open until 2 a.m. on a Monday. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, more spins, more wins, more fun. We'll get to grading the season and some other topics, but Riley, before Matt called in and trolled us for a moment, I did have a question about your conversation about the transparency in NIL when it comes to how much did this quarterback cost, how much is it going to take to go and get a 5-star receiver, what have you. It got me curious just to pin down the exact transfer portal window and when it opens. So the 2026 college football transfer portal window opens on January 2nd and runs through January 16th. Clarity outside of money and winning, clarity is a huge draw for certain players too. Let's say a 4-star receiver out there who's considering Wisconsin might want to know who's taking snaps and throwing him the ball next year. Riley, is it safe to say we need a declaration on who the guy is going to be next year, whether it's Carter Smith or going out and getting somebody else before that window even opens? Because while Wisconsin would have to use that window to go and get somebody under center, if that's the direction they're going, that's the same exact window they're using to try and land top-end receivers, top-end tight ends, top-end offensive linemen, and top-end running back. You have to make a pitch before that, and maybe even to the world, if you want some of these guys to pick up the phone, that this is our quarterback, this is the guy who will be throwing or handing the ball off to you, what have you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I hadn't thought of it that way before. And I don't know if it's possible in this day and age if you can make that declaration, but for sure Danny O'Neal and Hunter Simmons are gone. But yeah, it'd be great for clarity because Fickell the next month, he's not going to have many more sleepless nights or many more restful nights, I should say, up until next season starts. So I know he's going to have a lot of conversations with the coaching staff the next month or so. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Either like the week of, decide, is Carter Smith going to be our guy moving forward? And you don't have to make a big announcement. Like, I don't think you have to put it out there publicly, but get it to the right people. Let the agents know. Let Carter Smith know and his representation, obviously. Let them know, like, you're either the guy or we want you to sit for another season. And if that doesn't fly, we'd love to keep you, but maybe Carter Smith tries the portal. That would suck. I would hate to see that, but that is where we're at in college football nowadays.
And before we go to break, I should have clarified. I don't think we need a huge public...
like a Chris McIntosh comes out.
Right. We don't need hey, we're going to make sure we put all of our dollars in the building around Carter Smith. If they want to do that, so be it. But more so, a 4-star receiver comes into the office of Luke Fickell and Chris McIntosh and says, hey, I'm down to you guys in Minnesota. I know Minnesota's quarterback next year is going to be Drake Lindsey. Who's throwing me the football next year? They need to be able to answer that before the window opens.
Yep. I think that's a great take. It's a great take.
Yeah.
I got nothing more to add.
All right.
You nailed it.
Fair enough. We need some clarity. And again, we have like a month and a half to get it. But, you look forward and you go, oh, they could figure that out in spring ball. They could figure that out when they're getting into their preseason workouts and everything, when they go out to Platteville, P. Vegas again. That's when they... No, I really do think you have to at least have a relative plan going into the transfer portal that this is our QB, because everybody surrounds the QB. It's different than No, everyone's got an important role. It's different than saying, well, this is going to be our defensive end next year. No, I think those are decisions you can make in spring ball and leading up even into the first couple of weeks of camp going into the season. I think in 2026 now, you need to know who your quarterback is before that window opens, especially considering Wisconsin's needs. They have a lot of them. Skill position players is definitely going to be one, with different guys leaving either due to eligibility or they want to go and test out the portal in their own right. When we come back, let's grade the season. This stings a lot, so I'm curious to see how low people go, if anyone's still able to gather some of the optimism we had from the wins over Illinois and over Washington as well. And we're taking your calls over the break as well. 844-770-3776 is the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. List is more. We grade the 2025 season. What a ride it's been. When we come back here on ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
'Tis the season to be planning your holiday events. Whether it's a party for 10 or 10,000, Celebrations has the sound, video, lighting, special effects, and custom-themed decor to make it the best party ever. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With us on your team, your holiday or New Year's party will be easy to plan and super fun to attend. DJs, casino games, lighting, and photo booths are just the beginning at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
Last night at TPC Wisconsin completely reset my holiday party expectations. Every bite was exceptional, every need anticipated before I could even ask, and the staff at TPC took such good care of our guests. But the best part? You do not need to be a member to book an event there. Anyone can host a party at TPC Wisconsin. Our holiday party this year is about to become the one everyone wishes they'd attended. Visit tpcwisconsin.com and get your party planning started. tpcwisconsin.com.
Your family's safety is your responsibility, and it starts with a solid roof. When the next storm rips through and takes some of your shingles with it, call Badgerland Exteriors. Or looking to replace your whole roof but don't want to break the bank? Let the team at Badgerland Exteriors give you a free, no obligations estimate.
AJ with Badgerland Exteriors here. Contracting made easy is more than a tagline. It's how we run our family business. Visit badgerlandexteriors.com to get started on your next project. That's badgerlandexteriors.com.
Brian here from Canopy Wealth Management. At Canopy, we create strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. We've invested heavily in client-friendly software so your assets and plan progress are available to view in one place at any time. Whether you prefer only the high-level information or enjoy the intricate details of the planning process, we've got you covered. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Liberty Station American Tavern and Smokehouse isn't just a barbecue restaurant. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Liberty Station serves American comfort food with regional touches using many locally sourced ingredients. The bar at Liberty Station offers vintage cocktails created in a classic style, local craft beers, plus a wide array of wine options. And be sure to check out their sprawling patio with an indoor and outdoor porch area. Liberty Station, conveniently located just off the Beltline on Rimrock Road.
Steinhaffel's biggest Black Friday sale is happening now. Save 10% store-wide and get $50 instant cash back for every $4.99 you spend. Plus, get a $200 MasterCard rewards card when you use your Steinhaffel's credit card. And get amazing doorbusters like recliners at $229 and sofas just $299. Plus, buy a premium mattress and get free premier delivery on everything. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
All day, every day, the Carbless talk and text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
We ask and you answer. Tune in to Jim, Matt, and Molly every weekday 4 to 6 and follow at Jim, Matt, Molly on X to vote in daily poll questions presented by Siding Unlimited. Trust Siding Unlimited with your next window and door project. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Our friends over at Liberty Station did a really cool thing this year. They ran a game day shuttle program during all the home games this football season for just $20. Got a Coors Light and a round-trip ride to Camp Randall. It all starts with Liberty Station American Tavern and Smokehouse. Catered a lot of our ESPN Wisconsin tailgate events before each home game as well. They are located right off the Beltline on Rimrock Road. Cory Sparks, Riley Jauch here with you on ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay, brewed by Coors Light. We are live on 100.5 ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison and Milwaukee YouTube channels, meaning you can go into those respective live chats and comment your thoughts, your chats, your reactions, any questions you have. You can also call the carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. List is more, 844-770-3776, unless you cheer for Minnesota. All right, I want to go more macro here and look at the season as a whole, Riley. And I know today held a lot of weight. If they win, you're probably up a couple of letter grades or at least a couple marks, maybe not full letter grades. And with a loss, we're on the other end of it. But I don't know. I'm kind of talking about a fresh wound here, so I know you're hurting. I know a lot of people are hurting. I am as well. How would you grade the whole season in what was a chaotic, at times fun, at times rock bottom roller coaster?
Yeah, there were a couple really great games like last week against Illinois and against Washington, but those couple of great games were overshadowed by a lot of really grotesque games. So I'm seeing some D pluses in the YouTube chat, and I don't fault a D plus whatsoever. I'm trying to take my raw emotion from this game out of it right now, and I'm going to give the season as a whole for the Wisconsin Badgers in 2025 a C-. That'll be my official grade for the Badgers in 2025. They had the hardest schedule in college football. We knew that coming in. It was going to be a gauntlet. They beat the two teams they were supposed to, not as handily as we would have liked, but we had come to expect that, so it wasn't too surprising. Then you get boat raced by Alabama. All right, fine. Wisconsin blew their chances early in that one, and then Alabama's talent took over, and it wasn't close. Then you had our biggest show of the year, the disgusting just debacle of a football game against Maryland, which just totally destroyed all expectations, all positivity we had coming into this season, which really sucked. And it felt like, oh boy, this team might not win another game this year if they're going to get beat by Maryland like that, who's currently also 4-7 and losing to 3-8 Michigan State. Maryland was not a good team. And to lose that way, looking back, that loss has aged horribly and was still terrible. Then you had a good first drive against Michigan. Okay, you showed something. Defense held up fine, but the Wolverines cruised ho-hum there. Then just embarrassed by Iowa. Very similar first quarter to what we saw in the third quarter here today against Minnesota. Iowa just converted every opportunity. The Badgers gift-wrapped Iowa, I think it was 17 points right off the rip at Camp Randall, and that was just, you got embarrassed. You got pantsed by the Hawkeyes. It sucked. It was just another... I'm running out of adjectives to describe how I feel about these awful games against a rival too. And I mentioned he got an empty trophy case again. So then we're really down and out. You get bashed by Ohio State, but that was again kind of expected. Then the defense turned a corner against Oregon. You started to see some positives. Cooper Catalano, Mason Posa. You start to see these storylines develop, the freshmen providing a spark, and they hung with the Ducks for a long time, and they finally broke that 15-quarter drought of an offensive touchdown from I believe Hunter Simmons to Lance Mason in a rainy Eugene, Oregon. So that was like, okay, this is not great, like it's whatever, but you're seeing something, and then you shock Washington, and we're all fired up like, okay, here we are. Like, that's what I've wanted this to look like forever. But you can chalk it up to the weather, whatever. It's an upset. No one expected it. And then great first half against Indiana. They carried that after the bye. But then some freshman mistakes from Carter Smith, and Indiana out-talents the Badgers the rest of the way. So it was okay. Not great there. But then you just spank Illinois, and it's like, okay, Finally, this team has turned a corner under Luke Fickell. We have glimmers of hope. There's optimism for the future. Now just get the axe back. You got an outside shot at a bowl game. Close the season strong. Oh, baby, we got money coming in next year. Let's go. Well, I give this season, maybe it's looking like a B- or a C+, probably, more likely, if they they beat Minnesota. But then you just hand Minnesota the axe. You just, a vomit-inducing performance. The defense showed up, as they always do. They were put in precarious situation after precarious situation. 4 drives started inside Wisconsin territory. You turned the ball over 3 times. They just couldn't get out of their own way. And turnovers are the biggest factor in that. Most of the stats, they were losing in time of possession for a long time. Then they evened that out. Everything finished pretty even outside of turnovers. They gave Minnesota free opportunity after free opportunity. The defense tried. They turned them away several times. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. You let Minnesota keep the axe for another year, and everyone feels gross heading into 2026. There's reasons, again, for optimism, and we can get to some positives later heading into 2026. But right now, everyone, you just feel icky heading into 2026, like slimy, doesn't feel good, knowing that Minnesota has the axe for another year and you finish 4-8. It doesn't look good. It's just bad. So C-, and I think that's being pretty generous.
Yeah, D+, C- for me. I think closer to, here, I'll ask you this before I give my full breakdown. Weird to imagine a reality like this, Riley, but no X game. The season ended after the Illinois win. What's the grade then? Where were you at before this game?
Before this game, C+. Maybe if they spanked Minnesota, we could get up to a B-. So,
yeah.
But it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I know. That's just the arena of what ifs, which we don't really operate with here. But yeah, I'll go D+. Really, you can convince me C- if you really want to. I think closer to a C heading into today, but. And you can vouch for this more than I can, Riley. You're an alum here. I went to school in the state, but I did not go to Madison, so I was not like breathing, living, and bleeding by this rivalry as much. I've still always followed it. This is worth like 2 games, right? Like when you're talking about the weight and the significance, maybe even 3. Like this is going to stick with you guys with us for the next year.
Yeah.
Until it's the same thing with a lot of these rivalry games, right? Like Ohio State, Michigan. Now Michigan's got to deal with that for the next 364 days. Ohio State's been dealing with it for like 1,000 days, right? So it's one of those things where you just have a countdown clock in the locker room. Teams do this. Teams circle this matchup. I'll go D+, and kind of harping on something we've talked about before. We'll get to the self-inflicted wounds. There were a lot of them, so we'll go down that laundry list next.
We got, I believe it's Jason Ohl, 73, wants us to keep talking about the game. Don't worry. Jason, stick around.
Oh, we will.
We have more to break down from this man. I'm going to look for some adjectives in the break for more synonyms for disgusting and saddening and depressing. Just a bad game. A very no good, very bad game against Minnesota. We'll talk about it.
And we'll get to that too. Yeah, absolutely. So, Jason, sit tight. We will talk about the game a little bit more next. But part of the reason it's D+ and not C- too is the Badgers didn't leave this game playing a quality game. If they did, they'd probably beat Minnesota. And if Minnesota puts up the best performance we've seen in the last 3-4 years, or in the PJ Fleck era, maybe the grade is higher, right? It is the fashion of how you lose. But again, we're going to go over this next segment. But the amount of boneheaded mistakes, head-scratching decisions, and just flat-out errors. It's overused cliche, but it really rang true today. The team that makes more mistakes is going to lose the football game. And the Badgers led in that department pretty much from the word go. If you want to excuse the first quarter, it was essentially a healthy scratch there. We broke even, but Riley, you and I were talking. They were losing the field position game. You just had this weird feeling that if the Badgers continued to play a brand of football that we hadn't seen for about a month, they turned the corner of the Oregon game, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, is how they finished the season. There was about a 4-game stretch there where this team was playing really competent football, and it felt like all of that got thrown out the window today. If they play the way they did against Illinois today, they probably win like 24-7, 24-10.
I don't think it's that close.
Maybe more?
Give them the one big run from Darius Taylor, which also was because of a shank punt by Sean West. You give him that one play.
Good point.
Give him the one play. And they give him a touchdown. And Wisconsin, if they play the brand and level of football we saw that they were capable of against Washington and Illinois especially, this game isn't close. Minnesota was not a better football team, but they were just better today. They just didn't shoot themselves in the foot. They didn't make a comedy of errors. I love that phrase. Like the Badgers did today.
That's a good phrase.
It's a bunch of court jesters.
Yeah, it has not been... I held out hope. Really? Until there was like 6 minutes left in the game. Wisconsin was down 2 possessions. There was really no reason for me to have this hope. I was like, you know what? This team's been hanging around. They haven't played well today.
Tried.
But if they can just channel what we've seen the last couple of weeks, we'll be okay. We just needed for like 2 or 3 drives.
Literally.
We never saw it.
Just tried to hang on. But that's the thing. Who orchestrated this success the past 3 weeks? It was not Hunter Simmons. All due respect. I'm sure he's going to be a great accountant in the future. That's his major. That's actually what he does and what he's going to do.
Probably going to. Riley is not insulting this man.
Yeah,
like, that's
probably
his focus of study.
Yeah, he's probably going to go to one of the Big Four and be awesome at it. However, he was not an awesome quarterback for the University of Wisconsin. I would have rather seen Carter Smith in that second half, and it just sucks.
Yeah, had a couple of miscalculations today. Introducing Pizza Hut's new handcrafted personal flats pizzas for just $5 each. You can enjoy bold recipes like Nashville hot chicken, pepperoni duo, 3-cheese ultimate, and chicken bacon ranch. The perfect pizza deal, perfect for game days. Find the nearest location or order online at pizzahut.com. Nobody out-pizzas the Hut. All right, Jason, you get your wish. We are going back to the game itself. I have a few things written down. I'm sure you do as well, Riley. Missed opportunities. If A, B, C, D, E, and F go a different way, this is probably a completely different ballgame. If you missed the game, this is a great segment to tune into. If you watched it wire to wire, you can chime in with us on which one was the most crucial error of them all. This is ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay.
Looking to buy your next home or ready to sell and move on to bigger and better things? What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Don't be left out in the cold this season. Let's get housed. Nobody knows what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get started. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's a lot to be thankful for this season at Metro Ford of Madison. Get the 2025 Ford F-150 STX, now available with 2.9% APR for 66 months. That's just $16.64 per $1,000 finance. Or if leasing's your style, drive home the F-150 STX for just $299 a month with $3,859 due at signing for 36 months. Don't wait. These thankful offers end December 1st. Find your next Ford today at MetroFordOfMadison.com.
Start your career where the road to success is paved in coffee. At Dunkin' Donuts. We're now hiring crew members and hourly shift leaders at our locally owned locations. Dunkin' offers flexible schedules, employee discounts, health and dental benefits, and paid time off. Plus, bolster your resume with our own leadership training program and even scholarship opportunities. Up to $1,500 per semester. Text Team Spirit to 85000 or visit teamtmart.com/careers to apply. Dunkin', America runs on you.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Black Friday Extended event. Now through Wednesday, shop extended Black Friday savings store-wide, up to 50% off or more while supplies last. Like over half off 16-piece Farberware knife block sets, 60% off select 2-packs of Milwaukee tool batteries, $79 while supplies last. Shop extended Black Friday savings on Carter's brand infant and toddler playwear, half price, and Ruger Universal handgun cleaning kits, 60% off. Don't miss extended Black Friday deals only at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
We're on the Badgers.
This is where probably the program mindset has to change.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
What we probably have to do is ante up for unproven and bet on future success, not on past.
This is 100.5 ESPN.
Missed opportunity is the name of the game today. Maybe just blunt errors. 17-7, a sloppy loss. Minnesota keeps the axe and wins this rivalry game for the fourth time in the last 5 years. This is ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay, brewed by Coors Light. Cory Sparks, Riley Jauch here with you. Remote show today, and we were going over the season as a whole, grading it as an entire body of work. And Jason in our comments section brought up a very good point. We are reacting to the game itself, and there is a lot to cover with the game that happened. Wisconsin made a flurry of mistakes, a comedy of errors, I think you said, Riley. I might not be phrasing it perfectly.
No, you nailed it.
But so we can go back and forth and do this if you want. I know with the Alabama game, Jesse Nelson and I did a segment called Things That Sucked, because there were a lot of things that went wrong. This can kind of be a rendition of that. And it doesn't have to be in chronological order, but I guess I'll start out with this, Riley. The Sean West punts, there were multiple. I know it's a blizzard out there, man, but that second one being a shank, it immediately led to the one touchdown that I'll say, and the one score Minnesota kind of earned. It was a really good run by the Gophers back, but it started by them getting one of many short fields today. Special teams was awful.
Yeah, and Weston, Minnesota's punter, he was able to figure it out. So, again, I understand the conditions are awful, but Sean West, he's had a great season for the Badgers. It sucks that we got to put this much blame on him, but he had a terrible game today. He's the Badgers' bomber. They put Sean West back there when they need to flip the field position, and he failed at that today miserably. 2 shanks, one led to an immediate score by Darius Taylor, 46-48-yard touchdown run. And in a game, this is what I wrote down. This kind of reminded me of the Iowa game in 2023. Tanner Mordecai at quarterback. Iowa won 15-6 against Wisconsin, and they won off one big touchdown run by Caleb Johnson, number 4. I remember. I was in the student section for this game. It sucked. Caleb Johnson, one big run, and they had Tory Taylor, NFL caliber punter, just constantly pinned Wisconsin deep in their own territory. Tanner Mordecai broke his hand that game, but even when he was in, the Badgers just couldn't move the football to save their lives. And clearly today, until Hunter Simmons came into the game late in the first half and into the second half, the Badgers offense couldn't move the football down the field. Yeah. So what do you need to do when you can't move the football? It was the same thing against Washington. You have to force a turnover deep in their territory, or force a turnover and run it back to their territory. You have to make a game-changing play. You have to flip the field position. And the easiest way to do that is with a good punter. And Minnesota's punter, to his credit, had a great game today, and Sean West was absolutely awful. This was a classic Big Ten West slog in late November, and to win these kind of games, you got to be able to run the football, which Wisconsin was. Let me look at the official stats here. I should have had this up ahead of time. They weren't really able to do that. They had 86 yards of rushing to Minnesota's 128. You got to be able to run the football. Wisconsin couldn't do that. They especially couldn't do it with Carter Smith, hence why he was taken out, which I think that decision led to costing Wisconsin the football game. So you needed to be able to run the football. You got to be able to win the turnover battle, for crying out loud, or at least keep it even. You can't expect to win a game against any team. I don't care how bad they are. In Division I, let alone the Big Ten, with 3 turnovers and not being able to force any. And that's the only knock I'd have on Wisconsin's defense today, really, was that they weren't able to force turnovers. But to Minnesota's credit, they weren't putting the ball in jeopardy. Drake Lindsey had 50 completions for less than 100 yards. To be exact, it was 18 completions for 90 yards. He was just dinking and dunking. 4-yard out, 4-yard button hook. And that was enough for Minnesota. So you can't just gift a team. You can't gift the Golden Gophers great field position multiple times. You just can't let that happen. And then you have to win the time of possession, which Wisconsin did end up evening up. Minnesota only ended up having about 45 seconds more time of possession. But you have to control the football. And the entirety of the first half, Wisconsin was not able to do that. The defense was worn out. They were on the field forever. And then when you got to the second half, they controlled the football a little bit. They controlled it a lot better. But then when you're not finishing those drives and you're throwing interceptions, you're having to punt it away, and then you have a bad punt and you don't pin them back deep, you don't put yourself in a position to win. You're on the back foot in all of those categories. They put themselves behind the 8 ball. Every possible phrase you can throw out there for being worse than Minnesota. And that's just not a recipe to win ball games. It was appalling today from that standpoint.
The special teams was one of a few errors. We'll get to another one next. But first, have you been waiting to buy your next home? Well, stop. Now is the time to get housed. For over 30 years, Bruner Realty has been providing excellent real estate and property management service in the Madison area. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get started today. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. I have written down both Hunter Simmons picks. The second one, the more inexcusable of the two, where Buddy is just waiting next to Tretch Kekahuna. And we talk all the time with Hunter Simmons when he was the starting quarterback and when he comes in and splotches, the separation between a Division I quarterback and a Big Ten quarterback or an SEC quarterback, a Power 4 group or quarterback. And that's part of it, is you could see it, especially on that second one. You cannot stare down your guy from the moment you go into your drop. You are giving a Big Ten defensive back 2.5 to 3 seconds to get to his spot, and he knows exactly where the ball is going. You have to be able to scan, and I think that's one of the few reasons Hunter Simmons didn't work out in relation to his issues, Riley, and you brought it up, is when he's going to someone, everyone and their cousin knows exactly where the football's going because he stares them down.
Yep, and threw it right to John Nestor, linebacker for the Gophers. I mean, Hunter Simmons, to borrow a phrase from the great Del Griffith of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, he had a better chance of seeing a three-legged ballerina in the crowd than he did of completing that pass to Tretch Kekahuna. Nestor was on Kekahuna like a rat on a Cheeto. Like, come on. Mm-hmm. There was absolutely no wiggle room, and then he threw it behind Tretch, which led right to the pocket of Nestor, and then he goes the other way. To Simmons' credit, he was able to cut him off, and Kekahuna tracked him down, but then it led to a touchdown. So it's that decision-making from Hunter Simmons that just proves he's not a Big Ten caliber quarterback, and that's okay. I just don't want you to play quarterback for the Wisconsin Badgers. And thankfully, we won't have to see that next year, but it just further confirms that that's the position you have to get right, because mistakes by the quarterback are game-changing and game-losing, as was the case today.
Yeah, the three aspects I thought about going into a weird weather game where you knew there was going to be, it felt like a Big Ten West game, right? Three things: win the turnover battle, rush the ball efficiently. Riley has covered it already. Minnesota ran the ball better, and play solid defense. And I actually think Wisconsin did the third part. You allowed 17 points to a opposing offense that got a short field repeatedly, and that leads me to this. It was early on in the game. It technically didn't lead to anything for Minnesota, but it was the first of three. The fumble on the pre-snap motion, I believe the ball hit the shoulder pad of Vinny Anthony in motion, if that's right. I'm able to at least excuse this one a little bit, because while Madison has had a little bit of flurries this week, we did not get blizzard-like conditions before, 12 hours ago. So in my opinion, at least, it's hard to simulate that in practice. Maybe the guy on the pre-snap motion, whether it's Vinny Anthony or Tretch Kekahuna or somebody else, maybe they're going 5% faster when there's not snow on the ground and your cleats are skidding. Yep. So maybe the timing was actually perfect, but Vinny was supposed to be 2 feet past where he was before. And that's not to dive into the nuances too much. So I don't know how you felt about that, but early on, out of all the things I was frustrated about, I did write this one down because it was technically a turnover. I can't knock too many people for this one, because I almost wonder if it was a timing thing and Mother Nature kind of played a role in that one.
Yeah, and you saw later in the game, every time there was pre-snap motion after that, Carter Smith would wait an extra beat until the guy got by to snap the football. So, yeah, could be snow. Vinny was just a touch slower than he usually is. They tried to do it at the exact precise timing. They had been working all week at practice on Camp Randall's turf in the McLean Center, and it just didn't match up, so they altered it. And so to Carter Smith and Jeff Grimes' credit, they fixed that afterwards. And ultimately, since it didn't lead anything, Ben Barton got a big block field goal. Yeah, I also forgave that mistake. And see, that's the thing. It's easier to forgive a guy like Carter Smith for a mistake like that. He's a freshman quarterback, first game in the snow probably ever, and is just a touch off with timing. And then the defense bowed up, and they got the stop. Hunter Simmons, we knew these were his issues coming into this game. We knew he stared down receivers. We knew he made bad decisions that led to interceptions that took Wisconsin out of football games, because it's happened before numerous times. This was not a shock. This was not a surprise to anybody. So I just can't understand why Fickell and Grimes were comfortable with Simmons leading the offense for an entire half. In this one, it just doesn't make sense to me, and that's an indefensible decision. I mean, again, I said in my opening statement, I believe I understand the thought process. I do, but it's still you can't do that. You just can't. So that's where I stand.
Yeah. And that is, if you have any more, feel free to chime in too, Riley. The last missed opportunity and or mistake that I put down was preventing us from seeing Carter Smith out there with a football team he's led to a win in 2 of the last 3 weeks to finish this ball game off. I am still asking the same question you just did, phrased slightly differently. Why was it so important to air the football out? We were never down 3 possessions in this game. We were down 2 possessions in the fourth quarter. When I think of a team that has to air the football out and go 90-10, pass run the 10, maybe if you're on the goal line and it just doesn't make sense to put the ball in the air, I'm thinking of a team that's down 17 points with 10 minutes to go. Like, hey, tempo, we got to go. It's 2-minute offense constantly. And that just wasn't the case for Wisconsin. With the conditions, with how well this team's been running the football, pretty much regardless of who's been back there. It was Gideon Atuka for a bit. Darian Dupree had his breakout a week ago. Why was it so important with a quarter and a half to go, with a full half to go, once we saw Hunter Simmons to go back out there? I cannot wrap my head around it. And if someone wants to call in and let us know the rationale too, 844-770-3776. Outside of Carter Smith not having a grasp of the entire playbook, why was it so important to air the football out in the second half? And we do have Jim on the line right now. Jim, can you explain this to me, or feel free to just let us know what you have? Riley and I are baffled at why Carter Smith did not get to go out there and finish the football game he started.
I mean, come on, you guys are the post-game hosts. What do I know?
Come on, Jim. You're the host of the Jump Around. Weekdays at 12:30, on Thursdays at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison Milwaukee YouTube channel.
We got bumped up. Here's what it is. The Badgers are so bad that I'm out in a snowstorm going to get Culver's ice cream for my kids. I promised to them earlier. Riley, you've been killing it. You guys have both been killing it in the postgame. Incompetence is why Hunter Simmons is playing. Carter Smith has played long enough, and just let him throw it, live or die with them. Because that also says there's no future for Carter Smith at Wisconsin at quarterback. Yep. You cannot roll in the next year with Carter Smith as your quarterback. You've basically written his NIL transfer portal letter for him. He's gone. Out the door. So
exactly. And why would you waste?
You guys.
Yeah, why would you waste a potential future franchise quarterback in Carter Smith for a second half of Hunter Simmons with 2 interceptions when you knew there was probably like a 95% chance of that exact thing happening? Incompetence, I feel like, is a good word.
Here's the thing, guys, right? Hunter, he's got a future next year, right? Oh, wait, no. So that doesn't make any dang sense. I don't understand why. You know who he is. You're not getting anything from him next year. If Carter Smith is worse than Hunter Simmons, what are we doing? It's disgusting. It's baffling. And I think, Riley, you said something about they lost all their goodwill. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. This is a nasty stain that they spilled all over their resume at the end of this season.
Yeah. And, Jim, you're very well connected with Badgers alumni, Badgers fans, Badgers boosters. Like, you had an opportunity to maybe get a little bit of that goodwill back with a big, convincing win, or just any win today over Minnesota. Like, do you think anyone who was on the fence after watching Wisconsin smoke Brett Bielema in Illinois, on the fence, like, okay, maybe I will renew my season tickets. Okay, maybe I will start coming back to Badgers games next year. Maybe I will throw a little bit of cheddar in the NIL pot, give it to Chris McIntosh. There is no shot anyone hops onto the Wisconsin side of the fence anymore. They're all hopping off after seeing this. There's no reason to buy into what you saw today.
Feckless. The whole team looked feckless today. It was embarrassing. I'm not the only one thinking that. There's plenty of alumni thinking that. The idea of Luke Fickell's resurgence at Wisconsin had that grand opening, grand closing. That's basically what happened. It was open after Illinois, and the doors slammed back shut because this game didn't even look that competitive once Minnesota got up basically after halftime. But the Badgers just were out-physicaled, outsmarted, outclassed, and they didn't have the players. And I understand there's injuries, but also let's not pretend that there's something weird going on with Billy Edwards, that he's clearly not happy and he didn't play this year and he's trying to get a red shirt. So they're recruiting players who are putting themselves in front of the team. So the whole thing is a mess. You got Danny O'Neal, just can't play football at this level. Hunter Simmons can't play football at this level. Carter Smith, I guess TBD. But that's not on the players. It's the end of the dang season. Like, they should be able to be competent and look like they know anything about how to play Big Ten football. But no, instead you got Minnesota out there making you look dumb. And, man, if you got P.J. Fleck making you look dumb, we have some major issues.
Yep.
Yeah. Jim, we were grading the season a segment ago. How would you grade the season? How would you have graded it if they took back Paul Bunyan's axe, finished the season out 5-7, but at least on a higher note than last year?
Honestly, if you took the entire season in its totality and they beat Minnesota, I'd give it like a C. If I graded the momentum going into the offseason, I would give it like a B+. Now, I guess they're saved from an F, but the whole season and the momentum going into the offseason is like a D, which is the only thing the Badgers have.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I gave them a C- because there were still some positive. Exactly. I admit that's generous.
There's our optimist.
I totally admit that's a very generous grade because they smoked Brett Bielema. They showed glimmers of hope. But the fact that it seemed like all that growth, everything was building towards this game. And it's okay that this was the Badgers Super Bowl for how down and out they were earlier. It's like you pick yourself up off the canvas. You get yourself back in the fight leading up to this, the crowning jewel, getting back Paul Bunyan's axe, and then you get slumped. You just you can't put together 4 quarters of decent football. You fall flat on your face again. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's gross. It's deflating. There's no juice going into this offseason. I mean, earlier in the day they had a recruit come through from
4-star DL, top guy in the class.
This is, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, and fool me 5 times. We're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah, I got called out in the YouTube chat by Wisco Grebes for getting fooled like about 5 times probably. So I totally admit it. I wear egg on my face. Like I've been fooled all season, and this was the nice little stamp. Fooled one more time. Big ol' clown show. It just makes me feel stupid.
Yeah, it's just like that meme. Just get out your clown makeup, make up your face.
Yeah,
and wear it all off season.
Yep, and that's the thing. Now we have a full off season where what is there to be excited about? You bring in a big recruit, maybe if you make a splash at quarterback, but still there's now.
Raiola, that's the only thing that's going to get me excited about this team.
You want Dylan Raiola?
At least it's someone I've heard of.
Fair.
Dylan Raiola is. You could take every quarterback for Wisconsin and meld their talents together, and they're not as talented as Raiola. And I understand.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's weird and kind of annoying. But if he's on your team, you want him. You'd root for him.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely one of those guys.
I assume we could end up at Texas Tech. That's where I assume we'd end up.
Yeah, I could see that. He's not. Yeah, he's definitely leaving Nebraska. But yeah,
still wearing the 15. Yeah,
but I think this confirms, Jim, your take earlier from the jumper. I think it was a couple weeks ago, where now you have to make a splash in the portal. Cory is more on the other side. Still wants Carter Smith. Cory, you can speak for yourself. You can give him your take. But now that's the thing.
He hasn't had a full off season
Cory, you
yet.
Defend your take. I'm on Jim's side now.
Yeah. Jim, this was the scout team quarterback a few weeks ago. I understand it hasn't been pretty. I don't agree with the decision they made in the second half either, but let's give this guy the full offseason, and I'm of the belief you build around him. You have a couple of ranked wins on your resume from the last couple of weeks. Put skill positions around Carter Smith. You can still be run-oriented if you have a good backfield and a good offensive line, and make it impossible for him to fail. And if it blows up, then I have egg on my face.
Okay, but egg on your face doesn't get you fired. Luke Fickell cannot go into his contract year, essentially, with Carter Smith as his quarterback, a quarterback that he didn't see fit to let throw the ball around in what essentially was a meaningless game. Obviously, it's a rivalry game, but at the same time, if you believed in Carter long-term, just go out there and get the reps. To your point, Cory, the guy needs reps, right? And I'm not saying let him walk. I'm saying that Carter Smith probably has a higher opinion of himself than what the Badgers are going to show him when they sign people. I would assume that they're going to go big. Is Drew Aller going to go to the pros? Is he going to go leave Penn State? I mean, you got to go as big as you possibly can at quarterback. And they have no receivers. They have nothing. I mean, look, everything's just bad again. Yeah. But we cannot just act like we can go with Carter Smith This isn't 1993 where we can roll out there and not throw the football and be of significance. Like, if we want to get back to – and I'm not saying pitch away all of the things that Jeff Grimes has done this year, but we can't in the same sentence say, man, Luke Fickell would be so much better if he had Tanner Mordecai or Tyler Van Dyke or even Billy Edwards be healthy. He's had such bad quarterback luck. But then let's roll into it with a guy who's got zero resume. Is he throwing for 300 total yards in his 4 games?
It's a good question.
He's throwing for 200 total yards.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Doubt it with today.
200 at least.
Yeah,
but that's probably it.
He had 20 yards today passing, so I highly doubt
me
it.
if I'm wrong.
That's fair.
This is an offense that Carter Smith played quarterback for a few games that did not score 83 points in the Big Ten and will not have a running back over 400 yards rushing. And that was our benchmarks on the jump around because Melvin Gordon ran for 408 3/4 of a game. The Badgers will not have one running back who has ran for more than that. Riley, you have to check to see if the Badgers running backs finished with more passing or more rushing yards than the Badgers quarterbacks had passing. And they will not have 83 points, which was a number we picked that because the Badgers once scored 83 points in a game against Indiana. They will not score 83 points in Big Ten play this year because it's done. It's over.
Yep. It's such a far cry from what we were used to seeing from Wisconsin football. And, man, we were I don't want to say we were all back on the train after the Illinois game. However, everyone from our office picked Wisconsin to win today. And it would have totally changed our perspective on this season. Now you start nitpicking the stats. Like, you start looking at the product that the Badgers and Luke Fickell put on the field this season, and it's appalling. Like, it's not fun to look at. And in year 3, you just can't have this anymore. And now we know, like, you wanted clarity at the start of the season, Jim, and at least we know he's going to be back for another season, so we don't have to worry about that for better or for worse. But now you got to put all your chips on the table in 2025 or 2026. This has to be the year. You have to get back to 8 wins, and you have to show some semblance of return to Wisconsin football, even if it's not 1,000-yard rusher. Like, get one to 800 yards. Get a quarterback to 2,000 passing yards. Like, these aren't hard benchmarks to reach.
I don't think the Badgers running backs, this is off the top of my head, but just the running backs gained 1,000 yards total this year. I could be wrong, but it's way too close. And
the fact that that's even a question.
Right. And here's the thing. When Simmons is in there, and for too much of the Luke Fickell era, and I like what Grimes does, so this is the part where, all right, I'll give it to you. But the offense has been impotent. It can't do anything. It cannot score. It cannot pose a threat. It cannot be creative because there's only one thing it can do, and that's run. And I'm tired of it. The defense this year was good enough for the Badgers to at least be playing the bowl game, maybe have 7 wins, even with this schedule. The offense was impotent. It can't run. It can't pass. It can't catch. And I'm sorry, that's no way to enjoy a football season.
No. This was easily the worst Badgers football season I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
80% of the season probably was just an unenjoyable product on the field. And if I was just yelling profanities after this game before we went on air, Owen, our producer back there, can detest.
That's what the Badgers have done to you.
Exactly.
If someone told me Riley Jauch doesn't swear, I'd been like, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Trust me.
They've done to our Riley.
I was swearing like a sailor. Like, the Badgers have broken
you're swearing on
me.
the phone with me.
Yes, I was. Yeah, Cory heard a lot of it, too. I apologize, Cory. It was bad. I was so mad.
Fine.
That's the thing. The Badger, like...
I'm not the FCC.
I'm just...
Now, Cory, are these like real slayers, or is this like Jimmy Christmas? Like, were these real slayers, or are these Riley slayers?
He was going deep. Yeah, he was
getting
his money's worth. Yep.
Yeah, total on the season, the Badgers rushed, this includes quarterbacks, rushed for 1,750 yards. The running backs total, let's see if I can do some quick math here. It's under 1,000 If you combine Dupree, Jones, and Atuka, all combined for under 1,000. Dupree got the closest to 400. He had 380, 309 for Dylan Jones, and 269 for Gideon Atuka. I guess if you throw in Cade Giacomelli, too, they just crack 1,000 yards between 4 separate running backs.
That's sad.
But looking back, this offense wasn't able to hang its hat on anything. They still have no identity. I asked Luke Fickell on Monday about the identity, if they were finally starting to see it come together, and even he seemed unsure. I'll have to go back and listen to his answer because it was a bit of a word salad. But nothing has come together for this offense.
That sounds ominous.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. And like you said, I thought Jeff Grimes, for the most part, called a solid game. You could tell he schemed a lot of guys open today. Hunter Simmons just missed them. Carter Smith missed a couple too. But that goal line play calling was
horrible,
just outrageous by Jeff Grimes. Like, why are we running in the shotgun? Pistol. Why are we throwing screen passes? You're at the 2-yard line. Run 4 straight fullback dives.
Yeah.
Look, everyone falls guilty of being too cute. It was everything about this game was deflating, and losing to Minnesota is annoying. Riley, you're right. Minnesota could have just won and done the axe thing and left. Did they really storm the field, or was this AI?
Oh my gosh, they're 7-5.
When the Badgers turn it over on 4th down, I was like, all right, I'm out. And I fire plane straight at the automobiles. And all of a sudden, I see, I'm like Steve Martin with the rental car is basically how I feel about the Badgers. If you know the reference, you'll know it.
Oh, yes.
But then all of a sudden I see you going off on it. I'm like, is this real? Why would the Badgers have 4 wins? What are we doing now? And I hate to be the curmudgeon. I was for the Badgers doing it. I'm not even trying to be hypocritical. But the Badgers are a bad football team. You don't storm the field for being a bad football team.
Yeah. And they beat ranked teams.
Against ranked teams.
It's even most people. I remember Marquette fans getting after Wisconsin fans for storming the Kohl Center court after Wisconsin knocked off number 3 Marquette. And they're like, you don't do that in a rivalry. That's not how rivalries work.
Or for top 5 team.
Yeah, when Wisconsin beat number 9 Iowa last year, it's like, oh, they're storming the field against Iowa. Oh, that's a rival. Yeah. That's not how it works. But those teams were better than the Badgers both of those years. Then you have Minnesota. 7-5, they finished the regular season, storming the field against a 4-8 Badgers team. If that doesn't show you what a joke of a program that PJ Fleck runs, I can't help you. I'm sorry. But the fact that clown show has beaten the Badgers 4 out of the last 5 years is scandalous, to say the least.
All right, fellas. Great show. I got to get going here.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. That's Jim Rutledge, host of The Jump Around, and Jim, Matt, and Molly, The Jump Around, a weekly digital-only Badger-dedicated podcast. And that's going to help you a lot get through the offseason as we near the transfer portal window, as we get into basketball season, and before you know it, it'll be time for a hopefully much easier schedule in 2026. I say that reluctantly because I circled a couple teams this year that I thought were going to fall off, one of which is in the Big Ten Championship in Indiana. I thought they were going to fall off a cliff. So I cautiously say it will be easier next year. Canopy Wealth Management carries a long-standing tradition of working in the best interests of their clients every single day. The team at Canopy emphasizes building local relationships and believes that values matter and strengthen their communities. At Canopy, it's care, competence, and clarity. Not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. All right, we bring in hour number 2 when we come back, and we'll kick it off with Red Hot, Ice Cold. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hear that creaking? That's not the cold Madison wind or your holiday decorations. It's your joints reminding you the year's almost over. At Orthopedic and Spine Centers of Wisconsin, you can use your end-of-year health benefits before they disappear. From an achy back and stiff hips to those knees that aren't bending like they used to, they've got you covered with same-day appointments and walk-ins welcome. Head to their location just off the Beltline whenever you need. Don't wait, your benefits won't roll over, but you can roll right into Orthopedic and Spine Centers of Wisconsin today.
Welcome to Jackpot Land, this fall at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Play your favorite games with your Potawatomi Rewards card all fall to win your share of thousands in prizes each month and earn entries into the big December Jackpot Land prize drawings. Your October, November, and December entries all count. Win thousands in cash or reward play. Welcome to Jackpot Land, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Stroh for my great friends at Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. It's the best time of the year. It's bourbon season. Weather outside getting a little chilly, but you can stay warm with a delicious glass of the Door County Distillery bourbon. Or check out Door County Distillery exclusives like their cherry bourbon and their bat bourbon. It's bat good. Visit their website, doorcountydistillery.com. That's doorcountydistillery.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
I don't want mopey LaFleur. I'm going to solve problems, LaFleur. Everybody has bad performances. It then shows what are you going to do about it and how do you react. That's how you win in both sports and in life.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Electric bills are out of control, but with federal incentives, you can go solar with zero upfront cost and start saving hundreds a month. Badgerland Exteriors and Solar is a local and family-owned company, and they make the switch to solar simple. No pressure, no hassle, just honest.
AJ with Badgerland Exteriors here. Contracting made easy is more than a tagline. It's how we run our family business. Visit BadgerlandExteriors.com to get started on your next project. That's BadgerlandExteriors.com.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Madison, Wisconsin is as good as it gets.
It's all about the Badgers.
Go Badgers! Go Badgers!
Games like this is what really separates college football from everything else.
Open up the history books. Here comes Rondell.
That was J.J. Watt, and what a story this young man is. Gordon again! What a performance by Melvin Gordon!
And the pass rush gets on for the Badgers.
Randall lets it roar.
An unrivaled fan base, the best college sports town in the world. This is ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay.
Live it right here, right now.
Album number 2 of the ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay postgame show, brewed by our friends over at Coors Light. We are live on 100.5 ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison and Milwaukee YouTube channels. Cory, Sparks, Riley, Yaucho, and Dimful hanging out with you today. Previewing the hour, red hot, ice cold in just a moment. We'll have our Chalmers Jewelers drive of the game. Metro 4 to Madison College football scoreboard update. It is rivalry week, so a lot of fun updates there. And off-season needs. We look ahead to a long handful of months, but an important handful of months going into 2026, what we hope to be a much more attainable schedule, gettable schedule, get back into the bowl conversations and then some, hopefully. And we'll wrap up with helmet stickers as well. I do believe there's a few to give out. All right, Riley, let's kick it with red hot, ice cold.
Ho was scorching.
Going to keep it himself, another rushing touchdown for Wisconsin. Pouring it on in Piscataway.
Who froze up?
Block from his end zone. It's picked off. Jalen Reed. Touchdown. Huge play for the Penn State defense.
It's time to play Red Hot, Ice Cold on ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay.
He's got a fever.
I can't wait for next year to update all these opens with Hunter Simmons picks and
you got a lot of material.
And I'm trying to think of good plays. I mean, I'm gonna give my red hot. This play could make the open next year. I feel like I don't want to say the only deserving, but the most deserving player of red hot today was Jackson Aker. I mean, he made an absolutely sensational toe-tapping grab in the end zone. I thought it was game-saving. It was game-saving at the time where it's like, oh, baby, Badgers right back in it. And for him to have the wherewithal, stay in bounds, reestablish a little bit more to ensure that both his toes, that's a touchdown in the NFL. That just an absolutely sensational catch by Jackson Aker. He ran hard today, too. Senior from Verona, Wisconsin. He knows how important this game was today for the Wisconsin Badgers. And it just, it breaks my heart that he didn't get to chop down the goalposts in his final game as a Badger. It's just brutal. He was red hot today, that is for sure, though. Can go out with his head held high. And honorable mention, the Gophers fans right now on Twitter, they're red hot, absolutely clowning me for calling Minnesota little brother. And, I mean, it's fair. That's the thing. Like, I'm right. I'm 100% right. They're totally little brother. But Minnesota fans have every right to clown us and laugh in our faces and point and joke about us for the next 364 days. Just makes you sick to your stomach. So it's red hot. What about you, Cory?
Until we do something about it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, back to you. Appreciate it.
I'm
That's
done.
That's a good meteorologist shoot over. I'm like an on-site reporter in the blizzard. Yeah, Riley, we got about a foot of snow left coming in. I can't move my feet and I can't feel my hands. All right, my red hot is actually going to be the weather. I thought it was a really cool atmosphere getting the blizzard, the Axe game. I was not very thrilled with what happened on the football field. However, Jackson Aker, that is a great pick. I had to look it up so I could get his weight right. And yeah, 6'1", 250-pound, tight end, fullback, running back. They kind of thrown him everywhere. He's been a good utility piece for them the last 4 years. 250-pound individuals are not supposed to have that wherewithal in their lower body to be able to stick your feet in. I mean, what did he have? Like 2 blades of turf?
Oh my gosh! And the soft hands
that would have made it a
too.
turnover on downs. And he has finesse for a guy that size.
It's impressive.
Yeah, so, yeah, very impressive. I really liked the weather. I really liked the stage that was set. I loved that it felt like a Big Ten West football showdown where there were 84 combined yards. It was 0-0, and it was truly the field position game. I used to play, NCAA just came back with their football game, a year or two ago?
Yes, college football
15
25.
years ago. Yes. So I remember 15 years ago, college football 10 or 11, before the hiatus, right? I used to play this mini game where you would only be able to punt and return. So, Riley, if I punted to you and you returned it up to the 30, you could either try and kick an ungodly field goal from there, not likely, or you had to house the kickoff return. That's what this game felt like for the first, 5, 6, 7 series.
Yep.
And then it turned into the explosive play for Minnesota and the turnover machine that was Hunter Simmons in the second half. But I like the old school feel of today. The weather fitted it. You had the fans showed up. It was an electric atmosphere. Unfortunately, it just didn't go our way. All right, ice cold. We can snake this.
Yeah.
I will just say play calling at the goal line. I really didn't like that from Grimes. I thought he's called really good games all year, considering he hasn't had a whole lot to work with the offense. He's been stuck with a pretty run-oriented offense, and he's made the most of it the last couple of weeks, and Carter Smith has done enough in his own right on the ground, but apparently not enough to play the second half of today's game. Still wondering about that, and I'm sure we'll get answers in the coming weeks. But second quarter, team had the ball at the 2-yard line for a 1st and goal, and they ran out of pistol 3 plays in a row. They actually tried to throw it once to Tretch Kahuna down the near sideline, and he had to just get back to the line of scrimmage. I don't understand, when your brand of football was supposed to be the renaissance of physicality, and it has been the last couple of weeks, why we don't get fullback dive 3 times in a row, or at least have Carter Smith under center. He was under center on 4th and goal, which ended up being a rollout pass to his right. Teams do this all the time. Jim Rutledge just said it in the last segment. Everyone falls victim to getting too cute. I don't understand why Wisconsin football doesn't run the ball right up the gut 3 times, 4 times in a row against a team that I still feel like they were more physical than today.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I texted you the same verbatim what Jim said. Grimes got way too cute. There's no reason for that. And without a Herculean effort, a just dot by Carter Smith, and then a phenomenal catch by Jackson Aker to keep the toes in bounds, hang on to the football. Badgers going into half down 10-0 based on that play calling, and everyone is irate, even more, just about as mad as they are right now. And it's just inexcusable. I don't know how. You're at the 1.5-yard line, 2-yard line, slam it up the middle 4 straight times. You're going to get in. They were getting pushed, especially in the second half against that Minnesota front seven. There's just no reason to do what he did. So I had that written down too. That was one of them. We've already talked ad nauseum about Hunter Simmons' poor decision-making, so I'll skip that. We talked about special teams. I'm going to go with refereeing. For the most part, I respect just not calling anything in a rivalry game. Let it get a little chippy. Let the guys play. I like that. However, there's a pretty bad hold on the touchdown run from Darius Taylor against Wisconsin. Nothing called, obviously. And then last play of the game, offensive play of the game for the Badgers, Tretch gets assaulted, speared in the dome by a Minnesota defender, and they don't even take a look at it for targeting. That met every criteria for targeting. I just didn't.
Defenseless receiver?
Yes. Just
like
it was a good hit.
The definition of a defenseless receiver.
It's a good hit, but he threw his head and neck area at the head and neck area of Tretch Kahuna. He forcibly launched himself. I don't know how that doesn't even get a look for targeting. It's frustrating. It wasn't a ref show today, which is nice. But still, you got to make some of those big calls in big moments. And I think the Badgers would have benefited highly from some timely, correct calls by the officiating crew.
I'm with you. I am more of the belief that a laissez-faire officiating crew, hands off, we're going to let him play, is good for football. But when you do have these rivalry games and you open up Pandora's box and say, yeah, I'm going to let that slide today, teams are going to pick up on that. They're already going to be chippy coming into it. This is the week where you have teams planting flags on each other's logos, stomping. You know, you've seen the viral videos regardless of the rivalry game. You know it's going to be a little more physical. So if you send that message at the beginning of the game, the first bang-bang call that maybe you don't throw a flag or some laundry on the field for, I think it only grows into... And it didn't get grotesque today, Riley, but there were a couple of plays where neither side was held accountable, and that message is received by both sidelines. Oh, that's flying today. Defensive coordinators especially are going to channel in on that. Hey, they're letting you crack them today. Go in and take advantage of that until we're penalized with it. We are coming at you live from our Starion Bank broadcast booth remotely today. Experience a banking relationship where your goals are their priority. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, Starion Bank redefines local banking in the Madison area. Visit one of their convenient branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, or Monona today, or online at starion.com. bank.com. There was a comment in our section that I really did enjoy. I believe it was Jason saying, no, it was Parker Dutcher saying, red hot was my house, warm and cozy. Ice cold the entire football team's play. Yeah, it was frustrating. Yeah. I did enjoy. It was aesthetic. I'll go back to the weather. It was aesthetically pleasing to watch until you realize what was happening in front of our very eyes, specifically in the second half.
Perfect football weather. It's just the Badgers didn't play that gritty, tough, nasty, disciplined brand of football that won them the past couple of games. Defense, I'll give them credit. Offense, no, certainly not.
Did the weather not favor everything? That's what baffles me, too. 844-770-3776, the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. We will get to drive of the game on the other end of the break in a moment. But, Riley, did the weather not play into everything Wisconsin's been about? Since you and I have been born in 2001, but the last 4 games, we had the air raid Phil Longo thing. They kind of had to go through their recruiting and take their licks in the transfer portal to build back a tough, nasty, physical defense for sure, and they did get bigger. They didn't have those sideline-to-sideline guys this year. They prevented the run a lot more. So, based on how Wisconsin was built this year and how they were playing the last 3-4 games, even going back to the Oregon contest, didn't the weather today, you would think, favor Wisconsin?
You'd think. I understand it's a little harder to run in the snow. We saw that very clearly. The Badgers' pass rush was struggling, trying to find their footing. But then, that's the thing. They took advantage of terrible conditions against Oregon. They took advantage of terrible conditions against Washington. And then today, they just didn't. I understand Minnesota looked prepared for the quarterback running game, but you didn't try it for a full game. You just switched your game plan at halftime, or at least that's what it seemed like from an outsider's perspective. I'm very curious. I'd still love, I don't know if maybe we'll have to scour Twitter during the break here, try to see what the beat reporters are saying. I'm still very curious as to what Luke Fickell has said about his decision to start Hunter Simmons in the second half, his decision to just decide we're going to air it out all second half and not stay with the running game, with what's gotten us our victories this season, with the freshman quarterback that's gotten us over the hump this year. This should have been the perfect storm, literally, for the Wisconsin football team. You beat Minnesota in a snow-covered Huntington Bank Stadium. You parade around the field. Oh, my gosh. And they just blew it. And I think Jim had a good word for it. Incompetence. That's what it looked like from coach, or at least a shocking lack of confidence from Luke Fickell in what had been winning football recently. It's mind-melding.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Wisconsin tried to fix something in the second half that I don't believe needed repair. It hasn't been pretty, but you're just trying to squeeze out wins here and make a better recruiting pitch to the transfer portal acquisitions that you hope to get and the recruits for the class of 2026 University of Wisconsin.
And you're trying to get the axe back. You're trying to get the axe back. This is bigger than just you. This is bigger than just this season. This is about all the Badgers in the past, all the former Badgers who are texting the players this week, Axe Week, get it back. For all the players, the legacy of the rivalry, the tradition. Luke Fickell preached respect all week about respecting the rivalry. Why are you trying to change everything? This is about the Badgers of the future. It's about everything. Short-sighted. Short-sighted approach is what it appears.
That is very well put. Yeah, short-sighted. That's what Jim said, right? In that, what is Hunter Simmons going to be doing a few months from now? He won't be playing football for Wisconsin. He literally can't. And speaking of that, Jesse Temple, beat reporter for the University of Wisconsin, said Luke Fickell on the QB change in the second half to Hunter Simmons, quote, "It's nothing against Carter. It's just the way that they were playing," talking about Minnesota. "We thought going into halftime and coming back out, it gave us a chance to loosen some things up," end quote. So you kind of got the rationale right on the head, Riley, in that they keyed in on Carter Smith's running ability and felt that they'd have more success having Hunter Simmons sit back in the pocket. And that's fine, but he's not good at that either. He's better at spreading the ball down the field or putting the ball down the field than Carter Smith is at this point. But let's not act like we have some hidden, uncovered jewel sitting on the sideline. We knew what was going to happen. The other shoe was going to drop eventually.
I would have rather seen, if that's what you're going to do, put Billy Edwards with his bum leg in there at quarterback with the massive brace. Just have him, Billy, if the pressure's coming, just lay down. Just fall. Or throw it away. Get an
Yeah.
intentional grounding penalty. We don't care.
the grounding,
I think
yeah.
that would have given us a better chance to win. Like, come on. Hunter Simmons. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, he's probably catching a lot of flack right now, I'm
yeah,
sure.
I hope he doesn't have social media. I just hope he doesn't have social
now
media.
would not be the time to check it. But yeah, Luke Fickell saying it was time to loosen some things up.
Yes.
So that was the goal.
Like, I get it.
Did not happen.
But you know it doesn't loosen things up? Throwing the ball to the other team. That it just makes it easier for them to key in on the run. They're like, they can move the football down the field, but sooner or later, this guy is going to make a foolish mistake that gives us the ball back. So we can still load the box. We can do what we want. Yeah. We'll be fine. So I just don't know where that trust in Hunter Simmons. I don't know where that trust in Hunter Simmons comes from.
Yeah, I completely agree. With Celebrations Entertainment, planning events has never been easier. They have complete event services for weddings, corporate events, nonprofit events, outdoor movies, casino nights, and much more fun. Visit celebrationsentertainment.com to get started today. Celebrations Entertainment, fun, memorable events. When we return, your drive of the game, presented by our friends over at Chalmers Jewelers. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesch Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Attention business owners and executives. Looking for a bank that's invested in your community as you are? Look no further than Starion Bank. As a Dane County community bank, Starion offers competitive deposit and loan rates while actively supporting local initiatives. Visit a business banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, and Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, full-service business banking, lending, and cash management.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Last night at TPC Wisconsin completely reset my holiday party expectations. Every bite was exceptional, every need anticipated before I could even ask, and the staff at TPC took such good care of our guests. But the best part? You do not need to be a member to book an event there. Anyone can host a party at TPC Wisconsin. Our holiday party this year is about to become the one everyone wishes they'd attended. Visit tpcwisconsin.com and get your party planning started. tpcwisconsin.com.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
The host might be irrelevant, but the conversations aren't.
Jordan Love was not the MVP candidate he was through the first 2 weeks yesterday.
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe.
I think he's a good quarterback. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback. But when you make decisions like he did yesterday on that interception throw, that's what prevents you from going from good to great.
Live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also available on the ESPN Wisconsin app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. Celebrate the holiday season at the restaurant that won gold in Best of Madison. Enjoy seasonal dishes, handcrafted cocktails, and hospitality that makes every visit special. Planning your holiday party? They'll help you host a celebration that everyone will remember. Don't wait. Make a reservation today to secure your spot this season. Visit their locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Wanakee, or Mount Horeb, and enjoy holiday cheer with great food and great company. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Quick hitter here. We are still taking your calls, your texts, your live chats on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. List is more. You can go into the live chat on ESPN Madison. You can go to the live chat on ESPN Milwaukee, or you can call or text us, 844-770-3776. Wisconsin loses to Minnesota 17-7. Quick hitter here, as it is time for our drive of the game.
It's the drive of the game.
He's got the corner, and the Badgers touchdown answers quickly.
On ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay.
The Badgers punctuating and pulling away.
The drive of the game is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers, helping guys score for more than 25 years.
This one was a lot of fun, Riley. Touchdown drive in the second quarter, 7 plays, 75 yards, 2:24 off the clock.
Yep.
Hunter Simmons' 4-minute drill had a 67-yard strike to Vinny Anthony. Carter Smith, 1-yard touchdown pass to Jackson Aker. Not a lot to enjoy today, but that was a pretty ball and a pretty catch and a nice little finesse play by the 250-pound tight end fullback from Verona.
Yeah, that was a fantastic drive. It was the only, drive that ended well for the Badgers today. I was just even more repulsed looking through these drives for the Badgers today. Fumble, punt, 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 touchdown, interception, interception, punt, punt, turnover on downs. So many missed opportunities, so much bad football, or even worse, so much good football ruined by one bad play in a drive. And it's just a crappy way to end the 2025 season. Pretty easy drive of the game today. But I know we want to do a quick hitter on this segment. Before we wrap this up, go to break and switch gears here, Parker Dutcher with an interesting comment in the YouTube chat, an interesting question. So we all basically agree we got to get a quarterback in the portal. That's priority number 1. What's next? Wide receiver, tight end, offensive line. I think personally, you got to go. If Tretch leaves, wide receiver is your number 1 priority. You got to get a guy to replace Vinny Anthony. If Tretch leaves, you got to get a slot guy to replace Tretch. I like that we have 3 offensive linemen who are redshirt freshmen. We have some juniors as well. We have some seniors departing. Malman, Brunner might be gone. We'll see. Tight end, I like the little bit we saw from Grant Steck. Again, I don't hate if you get a Lance Mason type from a smaller school coming up, but I think get even one elite receiver. Retain Eugene Hilton. Number 1, that's the biggest priority.
Build around him.
Retain Tretch if you can, but then try and get another game-breaking wide receiver. The Badgers have been missing playmakers all season. We've been whining, we've been moaning, we've been hoping and praying for that all season long. So get a playmaker, a guy. It doesn't have to be Jeremiah Smith, but a guy who can change a game, who can make a difficult catch in traffic, who you can kind of just throw it up to every now and again and be like, if this is a 50-50 ball, I'm pretty confident he's going to come down with it. So I want the Badgers quarterback number 1, and then get a wide receiver. Would have been nice to keep Jaden Pettit, guy who flipped to Oklahoma, 4-star wide receiver, but do what you can, get a wide receiver. You have weapons at running back who hopefully develop further. You need more skill position guys, wide receiver.
You bought in on Eugene Hilton pretty early, and I think he's going to be great. Got to keep him, build around him. I am with you. And to answer Parker Dutcher's question, I would go wide receiver. I think offensive line is not too far behind it. It's my second because, Riley, you and I had this running bit, and it wasn't really a bit. The running back position, and it is on some of those guys for breaking tackles on the second and third level, didn't have a rush of beyond 20 yards. until the Illinois win for the first 10 games.
Today,
back-to-back.
back-to-back.
Line paving the way for those guys.
Back-to-back games. Darian Dupree with a 20-yard run today as his longest.
Yes.
But that's the thing. Like, the way the offensive line, they've been the same unit the last 5 games of the season. How much they've grown. And you could even see the improvement today. Like, they were opening holes in the second half, too. Which is, again, just I don't understand why we're trying to throw the ball all over the place in the snow. But I think this offensive line showed enough improvement for me. And Jeff Grimes is an offensive line guy. That's his specialty.
Yes.
So I think, while Grimes' play calling leaves a little something to be desired, I think he has shown that he can grow and develop an offensive line over the course of a season when they're healthy and able to have the same set of dudes playing every week. So that's why I feel a little more confident about the offensive line than I do at wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe just get some depth. I know Jason Wilde, Wilde and Tausch weekdays from 9 to noon brought this up after. It was either the Alabama loss or shortly after. He said, where is the recruiting and the NIL dollars that still we don't have a ton of transparency on with the depth of the offensive line? I think it was after the Alabama loss. That, yeah, it's not ideal that you haven't rolled out the same 5 guys for the first 7 weeks of the season, but your 2s and 3s have to be at least decent. These guys are cracking pads every single play. But I do agree with you, Riley. Continuity is everything. It's a huge fixture of this team. They had the same 5 guys out there for the last handful of games, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we did see a Darian Dupree or anybody else just starting to break through and have those bigger gains. So maybe I would go receiver, O-line depth, tight end, as long as they know how to block and chip and seal the edge. That's we don't have Jake Ferguson's every single year. So I would say that would be the tertiary option, if you will. But that is your drive of the game. One last note, 9 plays, 58 yards, 5:57. It was the second drive of the second half. That had the potential to be the drive of the game if it didn't end in, it technically wasn't a red zone interception, but it was right outside of 20, it. Yeah. Badgers were driving. We had momentum for about 5 minutes.
Badgers score a touchdown there. Woo, baby. Minnesota is feeling the heat bad.
That one hurt.
Because they were not able to move the football. Then you're able to kick off. Minnesota starts from like their 20-yard line. Then the pressure's on. Then your defense can pin its ears back and get after Lindsey a little bit. Maybe force a turnover of their own. However, it's all a bunch of what-ifs now. Season's over. 4-8.
That's the other thing. That interception by Nestor was returned 68 yards, so it wasn't like, Minnesota's going to drive 70 yards down the field.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
That also would have
right
changed.
Right in the red zone.
If he doesn't throw a lollipop straight to Nestor when there's no one in front of him, yeah. An interception never is good, especially in that area. But if you force them to go the length of the field, again, it's different. I don't think they go the length of the field. Yep.
No, they didn't pretty much all day. They had a lot of short fields. That is for sure. All right, 2 segments left for you. 844-770-3776. The Cardinals ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line list is more. Keep chiming in. We look around college football next with our Metro Ford of Madison College Football scoreboard update. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Your family's safety is your responsibility, and it starts with a solid roof. When the next storm rips through and takes some of your shingles with it, call Badgerland Exteriors. Or looking to replace your whole roof but don't want to break the bank? Let the team at Badgerland Exteriors give you a free, no obligations estimate.
AJ with Badgerland Exteriors here. Contracting made easy is more than a tagline. It's how we run our family business. Visit BadgerlandExteriors.com to get started on your next project. That's BadgerlandExteriors.com.
Want to pay off this year's rent-a-mortgage? Feel like a real estate mogul at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison during November's Live for Free promotion. Starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, November 29th, 24 winners will each spin the wheel for a cash prize of up to $5,000. Then at 8 p.m., one grand prize winner will pocket $25,000 in cash to use toward their rent-a-mortgage. This could be your chance, but you have to be here. Live it up this November and go to
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. Start your career where the road to success is paved in coffee. At Dunkin' Donuts, we're now hiring crew members and hourly shift leaders at our locally owned locations. Dunkin' offers flexible schedules, employee discounts, health and dental benefits, and paid time off. Plus, bolster your resume with our own leadership training program and even scholarship opportunities. Up to $1,500 per semester. Text Team Spirit to 85000 or visit teamtmart.com/careers to apply. Dunkin', America runs on you.
You've got a lot to be thankful for this season, especially the incredible deals at Metro Kia of Madison. Right now, you can drive home a 2026 Kia Sportage or a 26 Kia Sportage Hybrid with 0% APR for 48 months. That's just $21.22 per $1,000 financed. Be thankful for savings, thankful for style, and thankful for a ride that makes every drive feel brand new. But don't wait. These offers end December 15th. Find your next Kia today at metrokiamadison.com.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
We're obviously discussing this Green Bay Packers team and the inconsistencies, and if you believe that it's fixable in the middle of the season,
hashtag Team Kyle. I saw it on YouTube. Hashtag Team Kyle. I love it.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
What's better than cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand? Cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand that you got for 10% off. And when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank, you get even more. Like 10% off food and 10% off drinks on game day. Like that ice-cold beer in your hand. Plus 15% off Pro Shop gear. Only with Packers checking. Associated Bank. Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
Hey, this is Jonathan Blackwell of Wisconsin Badgers Basketball. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
From LA to Piscataway, this is your college football scoreboard update, driven by Metro Ford of Madison.
What a busy rivalry week across college football today. Got Ohio State taking on Michigan in the Big House. Michigan's had Ohio State's number the past couple years, but not this year. Ohio State back on top in the big game rivalry, 27-9. They now advance to the Big Ten championship game, where they'll take on Indiana. Could be a great Big Ten title game. Also, Oregon takes down Washington 26-14. For the Ducks, they finish 11-1, and they are likely playing in the college football playoff. We'll find out soon. Penn State and Rutgers got into a shootout, with Penn State winning 40-36. That puts Penn State to 6 wins on the year, and they're going bowling. Rutgers, on the other hand, finished 5-7. They miss out on a bowl game. Also last night, Indiana, big win over Purdue, 56-3, and Iowa crushing Nebraska, 40-16. Going on right now, Maryland trailing at Michigan State. That game's being played at Ford Field for some reason. 24-7 Spartans lead. UCLA taking on USC. That game is tied at 7, almost into the half. And at the half, Illinois leading Northwestern 14-10. That'll do it for the scoreboard update.
Metro Ford of Madison, Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Learn more at metrofordofmadison.com.
Wonderfully done,
Mr. Owen. Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealer, whether you need to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford. Metro Ford is the place to go. Visit Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today or go to their website, metrofordofmadison.com, to see this month's specials and browse their inventory. Huge thank you to Metro Ford for being on board with our scoreboard updates all season long. Cory Sparks, Riley Jauch here with you, reflecting on a 17-7 loss against Minnesota. Owen just gave us a nice big look around the Big Ten, so Penn State goes bowling. They keep getting good running backs, man. Katron Allen, I've kind of been following him this year. Over 1,000 yards. He went for a career-high 226 yards today, 10 yards a carry. So it looks like the Big Ten's going to get 3, right? Ohio State, Indiana,
Oregon for sure.
Didn't avoid a disaster, right? They'll be fine.
Yeah, Michigan
USC
needed
to
be
a 3-loss team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Michigan needed to win today. So, yeah, we know who's in for the Big Ten. 3 teams. Man, oh, man. There's going to be some debate. I mean, if let's see, if BYU wins the Big 12 championship, then they're in. Texas Tech, you can't leave them out. So then you have a two-bid Big 12. Yeah. ACC champ will be in. Group of 5 champ will be in. Those last few spots are going to be dicey, especially with Texas's win over Texas A&M. No, I said this earlier today. Like, I just can't. No, I don't want Texas to be in the college football playoff. You had 3 losses this year. Don't lose. But they're all the Longhorn fans are gonna be like, oh well, we shouldn't schedule Ohio State. This encourages bad scheduling. We should just schedule Tulsa every year and get an easy win. They're not keeping out a 10-2 team. Yeah, they are. If you lose to Florida, you're in the exact same. You're maybe 2 slots ahead of where you are now. Maybe where Vanderbilt is. You're still on the outside looking in. Don't lose to a garbage Florida team. Simple. Simple as that. So, no, I don't want to see Texas in the college football playoff at all. I understand, honestly, their best piece of resume, their best resume builder isn't the win over Vanderbilt. I'd say win over Oklahoma and then the loss to Ohio State. They played Ohio State way closer than anyone else did this season. So I think but that's classic SEC talk. Oh, it's a quality loss, so put us in.
Yep. It's just different here.
Exactly. Tennessee better be bumped from the rankings this week. If Tennessee doesn't get bumped from the rankings, they're going to be pissed. The only reason the Volunteers are ranked is so Bama and all these other SEC teams can have another ranked win to bolster their fraudulent resume. I mean, is Bama? I don't think Bama's fraudulent, but the fact that they're using Tennessee to prop it up is stupid, in my opinion.
Anybody in the Big Ten shock you at all this year? Better than you thought? Worse
well, I
than
mean,
you thought?
I thought Indiana. I thought Kurt Signetti. I thought the dude was a fraud last year. I thought that was he caught lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
I was like, no, this guy sucks. This guy's a charlatan, snake oil salesman. Indiana's gonna crumble. They're gonna go back to being awful this year. And then what does he do? He puts together an even better season, undefeated regular season, going to the Big Ten championship. I'm fired up for their game against Ohio State. Indiana's got me rooting for them. Now I have the utmost respect for Sig and what he does with the Hoosiers. Like, he is not a fraud. Clearly, he just wins. He wins. So Indiana did surprise me. Oregon, Ohio State, we expected this. I mean, Penn State, their fall off was shocking. Firing James Franklin was insane. Hopefully, Wisconsin is rewarded for keeping Luke Fickell and playing the long game, the patience game. Risky decision instead of firing him like so many other schools did. That surprised me. Outside of that, USC.
Iowa
I mean,
was a
they
little
were
better
okay.
than I thought.
Yeah, Iowa had they had the best loss, arguably in the Big Ten against Indiana. They were close to winning that game. But Iowa, like
kept
every
it close with
time,
Oregon.
Exactly, they beat everyone really bad who's below them, and then they get beat really bad by everyone who's above them. So I feel like they're perfect. Like they're like the ideal 8-4 team. I mean, it's where we'd like to be. I think a lot of Badgers fans would be pretty happy with an 8-4 season. Losses to Bama, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, or no, not Michigan. You beat Michigan, lost to Indiana. Four losses. You beat Iowa. You beat Minnesota, Illinois, all the others. Excuse me. Everyone would have been really happy with that season. So it shows Luke Fickell. This is the worst full season the Badgers have had since 1995, going 4-8. That year they went like 4-2-2 or something like that, 4-3-2. So it's a weird season, weird record. But and it's progressively gone down. 7-5, 5-7, or no, 7-6, 5-7, 4-8 now
4-8.
for Luke Fickell. Yeah. It's progressively getting worse. And now next year he's got to get at least 7 to 8 wins, or he'll be gone. Mac will be gone, and the University of Wisconsin will look like the stupidest college in the Big Ten, stupidest athletic department. I'm hoping. I don't think they are. I think the Badgers will be better next year, but it's got to work. It's got to work now.
Yeah, I agree. This is the ultimate gamble, especially I'm glad you brought up Penn State. I don't think a lot of people expected James Franklin's leash to be that short. I thought his seat was warming up. Didn't think he'd get fired that quickly. And then in direct contrast, inside of, a week, McIntosh comes out with the statement to say, hey, if you're wondering what's going on here in Wisconsin, stop it, because nothing's changing. We're upping our investment without a whole lot of details, just that we're upping our investment, and Fick is our guy in 2026. Maryland, I was quietly rooting for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, but before the wheels completely fell off, before the Iowa game where they lost 37-0, maybe we can justify that. Maryland is now getting the doors blown off them 24-7 against Michigan State, one of the final teams to not have a conference win, and they haven't won a game since they beat us. Yeah, so Maryland's gonna finish the season with the same record as Wisconsin, and their last win was against Wisconsin. They've lost 8 in a row, assuming they don't come back in the second half.
Yeah.
And I lost hope after a couple weeks. I was like, no, we're just not great this year. But there was a little bit that I'm like, maybe Maryland's going to be.
Maybe they're frisky.
Having ranked votes. Yeah. Maybe they'll be feisty. Right?
Yeah.
Not the case.
But no, they're just bad. And Wisconsin's worse. And that's where we're at. My, oh my, how the mighty have fallen. It's very sad. It's very sad.
It's not fun.
No,
it's not fun at all.
Really,
well, here's what we're going to do.
Really not.
This is a very important conversation, so we saved the best for last. We will do our helmet stickers, which is important. A lot of guys to give their flowers to, especially some of those seniors after their look, they went through it, man. They went through the ringer, but a lot of them, Daryl Peterson being one, you can look back to the Illinois game, never threw in the towel, stuck with it. You could tell the coaching staff, the athletic department, and us as fans really appreciated their buy-in, even when grass wasn't always really green. It was actually dead for most of this year. So we will do helmet stickers. And then off-season needs and just looking forward at the timeline, right? The CFP is coming up. We could talk a little Big Ten, but I think the really big window is the transfer portal window that opens a little over a month from now. Then it's spring ball. What's the construction of this offense and this team going to look like in 26? And ultimately, chips are on the table. We're all in. It's do or die. What does do look like? Where is that threshold? What does Madison need to see from its football program next year? All that is next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Hi, it's Eric from Canopy Wealth Management. Our years of experience have prepared us to guide you through your life transitions. Our local professional team brings over 90 years of collective experience in the wealth management industry for the benefit of our clients. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial future today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
When it's game day in Madison, you know what that means. Pizza Hut time. Unlimited large one-topping pizzas, just $7.99 each. Or your team at home can load them up with 3 toppings for $9.99. Perfect for kickoffs, watch parties, or that fourth quarter comeback from your living room. Fuel your crew, fill the table, and keep the good times rolling all game long with Pizza Hut. Order now for delivery or carryout at pizzahut.com or on the app. Pizza Hut. Feed good times.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, Just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesh Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. You know that honey-do list that's been sitting on your counter since what, 2020? Yeah, we can handle that. From leaky faucets to light fixtures, our handyman team at Bruner Realty fixes it all. Fast, friendly, and done right the first time. We take care of it so you don't have to. Visit fixedbybruner.com. That's fixedbybruner.com. Because your to-do list deserves a happy ending.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Stroh for my great friends at Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. It's the best time of the year. It's bourbon season. Weather outside getting a little chilly, but you can stay warm with a delicious glass of the Door County Distillery bourbon. Or check out Door County Distillery exclusives like their cherry bourbon and their bat bourbon. It's bat good. Visit their website, doorcountydistillery.com. That's doorcountydistillery.com.
Score the top gifts for the Brewers fan in your life this holiday season. Set them up for an epic 2026 season with the all-new Brewers Holiday Bundle, featuring 4 ticket vouchers, loaded value concession credits, and an exclusive Brewers Holiday ornament, starting at just $99. Finish shopping for even the youngest Brewers fans with the 2026 Kids Crew Kit, including one-of-a-kind Brewers merch, 6 ticket vouchers, a ballpark tour, and more, all for just $35. Grab every Brewers Holiday gift today at brewers.com.
Keep your bones strong and reduce your risk of fractures. Join Joseph Henningsen, orthopedic surgeon in Stoughton Health's Ortho Team Clinic, for a free online talk. Stronger bones, fewer breaks. What you can do to protect your bone health. Hear insights from the American Orthopedic Association's Own the Bone initiative and discover how to keep your bones strong as you age. It's happening Tuesday, December 2nd from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Register at stoughtonhealth.com under classes and events.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
One last segment for the 2025 Badgers football season.
Went by
ESPN
fast.
Wisconsin College GameDay. It did, man. It was a ride. It was always fun because it was with you and Owen, but the season itself, like the play, I don't know if I have seen from the Iowa loss to the Illinois victory a couple of weeks later or a few weeks later. I don't know if I've seen such a stark contrast in morale.
Oh my gosh, the roller coaster.
Yeah,
it's a cliche, but this year was the definition of a roller coaster with a lot more downs and staying down in the lame part than the mighty highs. Yeah, man, what a ride. Now we got to wait like almost 300 days before we get another college football game, or for the Badgers at least, before we get to watch another Wisconsin football game. This sucks.
There's a couple of dates on the calendar we'll give you guys just to try and bridge the gap. But yeah, that's the reality of it, right? We're not going to see this team suit up and play for, 9 months? Yeah. Not great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
Man.
I do think there's some stuff to look forward to, though, right? And before we look forward, we will look back at not just today, but the season in general. It is time to give out some helmet stickers.
Let's see who earned it.
Jack Cichy doing it all on this drive for the Badger D. Melvin Gordon inside the 20. Uses the stiff arm. Hold on. Is he in? It's a Wisconsin touchdown. Going deep. Down the left sideline. Man's there and got it. In stride. And it's Vinny Anthony. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Time to give out some helmet stickers on ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay.
I've got 2, and then I'll hand it off to you, Riley. My first one is first half Hunter Simmons.
Yeah.
Exclusively first half Hunter Simmons. That's where we draw the line right there. That throw to Vinny Anthony was pretty, man, especially in the blustery wind. I wish we could have stopped there with the Simmons highlights. Well, with the highlights, we technically did. But with the Simmons throws, that got me out of my seat. I was hoping there'd be more moments like that. But that's okay. I guess it is what it is. My second one is more season long, and I don't want to steal too much of your thunder, but I think Mason Posa and Cooper Catalano gave us a lot to look forward to because of what they did this year as true freshmen. The future might be a little murky with Carter Smith. I'm going to put it out on the line that I don't think Mason Posa and Cooper Catalano are going anywhere. Riley, you brought up the brotherhood, the commitment to this program. And I feel pretty confident in saying they'll be back.
Yes, let me see if I can find the quote from Nick Osen, reporter for Badger 247. Here's the quote from Mason Posa postgame. We've been pounding the rock the entire season, and we are there. We're there. Next year, I promise you, and I swear by it, we're going to change this program. It is going to be a winning program. So that doesn't sound like a guy who plans on going anywhere. Posa and Coop, they are going to be back. They're going to be the anchors on that defense for sure.
I love that, man. And if that's the impact they were having as freshmen, just imagine.
Oh
Again,
my
they're
gosh,
going to get that
seniors?
full offseason now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Even next couple of years against an easier... The competition's supposed to come down, and they're only going to get better. Because now they know these jobs are probably going to be theirs.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be starters at their respective positions. Where, think about it, this year, what was the learning curve like? These guys were second and third string at their respective positions, and it became one of those things where it was, all right, guys, here's our football team the next 6 games. Who wants to go out there and who's able and healthy enough to do it? Now it's their job, and they get a full offseason of resources and preparation and film time and practice to go out there and get better. So helmet stickers for them, because if we didn't have a Mason Posa and a Cooper Catalano on our team, and you asked me, Cory, what are you looking forward to next year? I don't know if I'd have a solid answer for you, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it'd be tough to find a positive, and I don't think this team gets the spark that it did. And I don't know if we beat Washington or Illinois without Post and Catalano, and I've gotten the opportunity to talk to Cooper quite a bit over the course of the season. One of the big things he's told me is that he didn't realize the biggest jump from high school to college football is the mental aspect and really learning the game of football. It's a different level. And he said that's the area he's improved the most in learning the psychological aspect of preparing for a game, of learning the playbook, of learning the sport at a much higher level than he previously had. So give him a full offseason. I think Cooper and Mason, Posa, Catalano, the broadcast called them the Bash Brothers today. Love that name. I think they're going to be a force in the Big Ten. They're going to win awards next season. Those are the anchors of this defense and of this team. And I think one of the positives looking forward for Luke Fickell is that he's a defensive guy, and his teams are going to be anchored and led by a stout, sturdy defense. And Posa and Catalano, they embody that to a T. And I think this defense is going to be a force next season, which I'm really excited to see. Very, very pumped for that. My helmet stickers, I got a lot. Just so many of sentimental value. But for this game specifically today, Ben Barton, senior from Stratford High School, the Tiger, it's a quintessential Badger. He blocks the field goal in the first quarter to prevent that fumble from doing any damage. That looked like it was going to be a huge play down the stretch. It could have been if Hunter Simmons doesn't throw 2 picks, they don't turn the ball over 3 times, whatever. But Ben Barton, he showed out today. Big run stuffer. Going to miss him next year. Going to miss a lot of that front 7. Lots of seniors, lots of transfer guys you're going to need to replace going forward. But Jackson Aker, we talked about him. Amazing touchdown catch. Ran hard. Senior from Verona. Give him a helmet sticker. Vinny Anthony had an insane catch today. He had a great season. Was second on the team in receiving. Love the dude. Always positive. Very optimistic. He's getting married in the spring. So best of luck to Vinny Anthony in the future. Very, very proud to call Vinny Anthony a future Badgers, a fellow Badgers alumnus, along with myself. Lance Mason, too, transfer from Missouri State. Got to talk to him a couple of weeks ago. Seems like a really great dude, too. Really easy to root for. From Texas. Like, He bought into the culture here. He actually led the team in receiving touchdowns this year. So Lance Mason, really under the radar dude who had a big impact on this offense. He'll be done after this year. Big shout out to Lance Mason. Cooper Catalano, Mason Poster, we just talked about them. Mason Reiger as well, transferred from Louisville. Battled tons of injuries throughout his career. And then this year, able to make a big impact, especially in those couple of wins. He looked great. Deani Hill, he was a force in the secondary, transferred from Miami. He bought into the culture. He was a hard-hitting defensive back. Cardinal Hallman, though he fell off quite a bit over the course of his time at Wisconsin, still ended the season strong, got a couple of picks, and he's a lifer. He's a Badgers lifer. Hope he does great things at the next level. And finally, Aaron Witt, another one of those Wisconsin guys, born and bred, and you just really wish he could have gone out with a much higher note than Wisconsin did today. So tons of helmet stickers I'm giving out today. I'd love to give them out to everyone, and really would have loved to see them get the victory. But unfortunately, they go out with a loss.
Well said. And again, there are a lot of seniors who finished the season out as strong as they could with this team that could have said, hey, coach, my ankle doesn't feel too good. I'm done. Like, I'm just going to shut it down. And they wanted to, the ones that you mentioned, and, another one that comes to mind, Daryl Peterson, just having a career performance last week.
Christian Allegro, too, with a broken arm. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's
the
toughness.
club out there?
Yeah. You got a sack today.
So it's easy to go out there and, football's a grind. I've never played it, at least past like the 6th grade level. But you could tell these guys are going out there and when you have a club on your hand or you have a gimp in your step and then you have to get back out and run full speed 20-plus miles an hour. Point being, it's always a grind, but it's a lot easier to get through a season when you're 12-0 or you're competing for a conference title and you go, yeah, I'm bought into this team. I love being here. Winning's awesome. I'm doing it every single week. It's a lot tougher to go wire to wire in your final season when you could just hang it up and say, I'm majoring in X, Y, and Z. I'm going to turn my attention to that. I don't need to put my body at risk anymore. This team's 4-8. It's a lot harder to go 4-8 and go wire to wire in a season that did not go to plan against the toughest schedule in college football, where some would argue you're playing for nothing at the end, yet you still finish the job.
Yeah.
So credit to every single one of those seniors, especially, who went out there. Some of them are going to try and play football at the next level. Some of them, this is the last time they take the pads off, and they still finish the season despite a lot of people outside of their locker room saying it was over before it began.
And it's even harder with how much money they make now. You can be done. You can get a stinger, get hurt a little bit. You made 6 figures playing football just from this season. No one's forcing you to get out there. No one's forcing you to potentially risk CTE or a life-altering injury. You can be done. But almost no one on this team did that this year. There was no quit all the way to the end, even though it was a really sloppy, just kind of sad game that they put out today. Lots of missed opportunities, sickening for all involved. You can't fault the heart on this team, which is very, very commendable.
Absolutely. So those are your helmet stickers, not only for today, but the season in general. A lot of those guys are going to be really tough to let go and to say goodbye to. And even though this year didn't go to plan, it's definitely going to be odd. And it's become more and more odd the last few years with NIL and the transfer portal era that we're in. To go out there and see a brand new team next year with maybe more turnover than you would have seen 5-10 years ago. But kudos to every single one of those guys who stuck it out. Kudos to some of their family members who interacted with the show or interacted with us. Some of those players directly interacted with us over Twitter or different platforms. So building that bond and seeing that support reflected from the University of Wisconsin that we've been trying to give to them through the good, the bad, and the ugly has been really cool. And now it's off-season time, the last part of the last segment of the season. Before we do some thank yous, just a couple of dates to look out for. The transfer portal is going to open up on January 2nd. And it's open for 2 weeks until the 16th. College football playoffs going to begin before that and finish around that time. Then we'll have some spring ball a couple of months later, and 281 days. That's all it is, Riley. It's right around the corner until September 6th against Notre Dame. That's at Lambeau Field. That is the first regular season game for the Wisconsin Badgers.
At least we'll have cool uniforms. That was confirmed in the Under Armour extension release. Special Shamrock Series uniforms for the Badgers. So first game of next season. Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. unrecognizable probably in personnel.
Yeah.
And with what they're wearing. Hopefully it signals a change in the direction of the program, that they're moving back upwards, a visible sign of progress from this squad next year against Notre Dame at Lambeau Field. But, man, out of the frying pan and into the fryer, as they say, or into the toaster oven, whatever. I don't know exactly what the phrase is. But it doesn't get easier to start the season for the Badgers next year. No. But 281 days. I mean, man, that sucks. I can't believe it's already over. I mean, we'll have a whole baseball season, get to watch the Brewers. That'll be fun. The Packers, still a lot of season left for the green and gold. That'll be fun. But I don't know. For me, it's just not the same.
I know.
Yeah, Badgers volleyball, too. Shout out our producer, Owen Dimple, all season. Yeah, they make a run at the Final Four. We'll see. But just love watching Wisconsin football, even when it's brutal like this year, even when there's a lot more downs than ups. There's just something special watching the Cardinal and white suit up in their pads each and every week. And this year especially, getting to talk about it, getting to be on this postgame show, just a fantastic opportunity. And, I mean, we can save some of our thank yous for later, like you said. But this has been still just awesome for me personally as an alum, as a fan, as a journalist, getting my feet wet in this career. This was awesome and something I certainly don't take for granted.
Yeah, Riley, nobody bleeds Cardinal red more than you, at least in terms of people I have crossed paths with in my life. I remember when I got told by Ashton Rotman, the content manager over at ESPN Madison, hey, we would love to have you on the show. You're going to be working with Riley. I jumped out of my seat, just like I did for the Lance Mason touchdown from a couple of weeks ago, because I know how passionate and how knowledgeable you are, and it has been so fun to work with you these last couple of months, hoping to make some different appearances on ESPN Madison. Obviously, our fans at home have the jump around every single week, so if you're worried about lack of Badgers before the football season starts back up, don't be.
Don't worry.
That's a great way to bridge the gap.
We still have basketball season, too. I can't.
Yeah.
How did I forget about
season,
Greg
volleyball
Gard?
Tournaments.
Yeah. We got a lot.
Yep.
We still got a lot coming up.
Yeah, so a lot there. Huge thank you to Owen Dimfold, too. Owen, you are awesome. You are very dedicated, and you've always given really helpful feedback on how to make this show better for two hosts that have not done something on this platform before. So you've been a great guiding light, too.
Yeah, lots of first years on this program. Owen Dimfold stepped into the breach halfway through the season, maybe a third of the way through the season. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah, impressive stuff. Learning on the job, throwing straight into the fire. And he's handled it with grace and dignity, and yeah, lots of growth all around, which is really cool. And it would have been great to just cap this season off with a victory. The axe, we can head into the offseason celebrating, feeling really good about the direction of the program. But alas, 'twas not to be.
Yeah, this is the story that we tell, and that it's a team that showed some glimmers of hope the last couple of weeks, but was not able to bookend the season with wins. It felt a little weird seeing them favored for the first time in a while, too. I'll be honest. They were like 1.5, 2-point favorites going into this contest in Minnesota, so that might have given me a little more hope than I should have had to. But no, this has been a lot of fun. They could have gone 0-12, and I think I still would have had a blast because of what you guys do and how talented you are at it. And everyone who listens and interacts with us on the Cardinals ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line, you guys made it so much fun. This show is literally not here and does not have the support in multiple facets without all of you. So 844-770-3776. If you called that line, if you texted that line, if you went into the live chat at ESPN Madison or Milwaukee, you chose to interact with us when you could have just flipped the game off and gone on with your day and spent your time and energy elsewhere, and you spent it with us. So that meant a lot to us, and I'm sure I'm echoing your guys' thoughts there too.
Oh yeah, I cannot thank the fans enough. It's been so fun, like hearing you guys call in each and every week. Scott in Fort Worth, massive shout out to him. Parker Dutcher, Michael Glenn have been major factors in the YouTube chat. We had Terrence in Milwaukee, Norman in Utah, just phenomenal fans across the board. Like that's the only reason we have these jobs is because you guys want to listen. And because you guys, for some reason, respect and appreciate what we have to say, despite being very young in this profession. for you guys giving us your ears and, treating us with that respect and the grace, too, and all the critiques. That's helped us grow, too, like learning on the job. It has been awesome. I cannot thank all of you enough. I mean, you got 26 of you still watching. It's fantastic. Like, I can't thank you enough. Like, there's so many great Badgers creators out there that do great work, and the fact that you choose to listen to us, we're trying to become the go-to spot for every Badgers fan after the game going forward, and hopefully we continue to grow and become the best spot, like the go-to place for all Badgers fans for all your content. So we're just trying to serve you to the very best of our ability. So thank you for being here. Thank you so much. We hope you come back next year as well. Stick around throughout the offseason. We hope to continue to have stuff, whether it be Jump Around Extra, maybe Wisconsin College GameDay one-off shows. Who knows what it's going to look like, but hang around. We'll try and keep giving you the best possible Wisconsin Badgers content on the market for every single one of you, and just continue to grow the community. This has been a blast. So grateful. Don't take any of you for granted.
Very well said. Very well said. And Riley, you, Owen, myself, we're all really passionate about sports. That's why we like to talk about it and take it to a platform. But without all of you interacting with us, it's three dudes talking, which is still really fun. You can do that whenever you want. But to have, whether it's a few hundred of you at a time after a disappointing 37-0 loss against Iowa coming in and contributing with your dialogue, or a shocking win against Washington or Illinois, and the same people who were really bummed out about the loss came in to cheer with us, that group atmosphere and that sense of community. I think I speak for you guys here a little bit, too, on it. That's part of why we do it. It's a lot more fun when you have more people who, whether they're pushing back on your takes or echoing your takes, are bringing different angles. And you guys all make the show as successful as it has been. We're going to look back on it. We're going to find a way to make it better in 2026. And the reason we're going to be able to break it down and see what went right and what didn't, it's based off how you guys reacted to it. So I do want to remind all of you before we go today, ESPN Wisconsin College GameDay is presented by Coors Light. When you need to refresh on game day, choose a beer that's as cold as the Rockies, cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged for peak refreshment when the mountains are blue. You know what to do, Riley.
And that is crush a Coors Light.
2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. So last words here before we go out into the void for a bit again. The Badger dedicated podcast, the Jump Around on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Go to that. Jump Around Extra will be coming out, and hopefully we have some different elements dialed up for you in the offseason as you follow along the volleyball season, the basketball season into the spring, and before you know it, it'll be to fall again. Riley, your expectations going into 2026, what needs to get addressed so that next year is a success?
Yeah, I think number one, you got to get the quarterback position right moving forward. That is priority number one for Luke Fickell, the athletic department, all the donors. You got to pony up. If you're saying you're going to invest in this program, you got to invest as much as humanly possible. That is also, realistic for the Wisconsin Badgers. You got to get after it. This upcoming season, it's make or break. I think that Luke Fickell, 7-5, I don't think cuts it with the schedule next year. Like, there's some tough games. It's not going to be a cakewalk of a schedule for sure, but 8 wins needs to be the expectation. Wisconsin cannot have another season like this ever again. You cannot have a season like you did last year ever again. You have to get back to where Wisconsin football needs to be at a bare minimum, 8-4, essentially where Iowa is at right now. That's the standard. It sucks that we have to look at the Iowa Hawkeyes as sort of the flag bearers for where we want Wisconsin to be right now, but that is the minimum. And then hopefully in 2 years, with an even easier schedule, you elevate, and now you're starting to look, you're chasing down, you're at the level of the Oregons, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Indianas, the USCs. That has to be the trajectory moving forward. Otherwise, this Luke Fickell extension and hire was a massive mistake. Chris McIntosh's legacy is a failure. And the Wisconsin football program and probably athletic department as a whole is in the most dire straits it has been since the early 1990s. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. Wisconsin football needs to figure it out and figure it out fast. Next year is make or break. Let's hope it goes well.
A lot of pressure.
It goes well. Lots of pressure.
They've quadrupled down on it, right? Like Mac has essentially pinned himself to the hip of Luke Fickell, saying where you go, I go. If you go up, I go up with you, because I told everybody this is my decision, and where 99% of people would fire here, I am amending and saying, look, this is not great. I'm not proud of what's happened, but this is the crew that we're rolling with, at least with Luke Fickell at the leadership position. You could go down into different spots. They did say they're going to address literally everything in the offseason outside of that. But yeah. That is it. And I think one thing I have my eye on, or what's on my radar, when the transfer portal window rips open, go get some playmakers. The Ohio States, the Oregons, the Indianas of the world, they've got dudes on offense that can end a drive like that. We don't have that right now. We have a really stout defense. I thought the defense was the bright spot of the year. They were able to get in slugfests. Even today, 17 points feels fraudulent. It should have been 7 or 10 that they gave up because there were so many short fields. Now give them that support. That means a quarterback you're confident in, playing wire to wire, that you don't have to take out in certain scenarios, whether that's a better version of Carter Smith or somebody else while he learns or goes in the portal himself. Vinny Anthony is going to be really hard to replace. You might have to do that in an aggregate style. Keep the offensive line healthy. Obviously easier said than done. And then I'm curious to see what happens with the backfield, because we were promised a lot going into this year, and no one really emerged from the start to the finish as that true 1,000-yard rusher. It took 4 guys to do it, and even that barely happened. So big thing on my radar, go get some playmakers on offense. You need some guys who are electric, who can go and get those explosive plays down the field, because, frankly, this team was lacking that, and it made Grimes' job a lot harder when he knew he could only get 3 yards in a cloud of dust every single time.
Yeah, if that. And that reminded me, I completely forgot about Jaden Ballard as a receiver needed plays. He's been a non-factor the second half of the season, which sucks. He had pretty high hopes, too. Former top 5 wide receiver recruit out of the state of Ohio, went to Ohio State. I believe he was a 4-star. He showed some flashes, but he overall had a disappointing campaign, but you got to replace him, too. He had skills. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you got to replace a good chunk of that front 7. Lots of seniors, lots of depth will be gone. And you have some talented young cornerbacks in Emilio Agard, Cairo Skanes, but you're going to need more depth there too. There's a lot of areas that Wisconsin's going to need to address in this coming offseason, and they have to hit on every single one. There is zero margin for error anymore, which is a scary proposition. Scary proposition for Fickell and company.
Yeah, nothing easy about a 4-win jump. That's going to do it for us. We are looking forward to seeing you next season. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Seriously.
All season long. You guys
love
made
you
it
all.
special. Yeah. Riley, Owen, thank you guys. You guys have been amazing to me. We will catch up pretty soon, I'm sure.
Man, it sounds like it. Thank you, everyone. I'll let you sign off here, Cory, but my final words on Wisconsin, and God bless you, everybody. Thank you.
There we go. That has been ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. Have a good night and off-season.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending